Welcome everybody into the annual edition of JokicJoestar and Carson Talk Movies. That's right, baby. We've got Jack doing a little impression of Logan Camden with the screaming in the intro there. But luckily Logan's not here today. We don't have to deal with his bullshit for once. We're free of it. We did this last year. Of course, this is JokicJoestar, aka Jack, who I have here with me. And it was a really good time. And some of you guys wanted us to run it back, and I wanted to run it back. So here we are. Jack, how we doing?
Doing wonderful. So it's hard to complain. Yeah, I had a lot of people. I've had people commenting, "Are we going to get a second one of these over on all our shit too?" So yeah, it seems like a good thing, and I'm excited. I asked you this last year, but I want to know again. Like, have you been following the Oscars as an awards thing for long-ish, like several consecutive years?
So last year was the first year that I really got into it and made a commitment to like watch every Best Picture nominee.
Yes,
that was the first time that I'd ever done that. And it also just worked out because I don't think I was like making a concerted effort to do that from the start. It was just such a great year of movies, 2023.
Same. Yeah.
And then I think I had seen like 7 or 8 of the Best Picture noms and I was like, oh, fuck it. At this point, I'm finishing this off. And then I was like, oh, I've got takes. You know who else has movie takes? My boy Jack.
Hell
Boom.
yeah. Literally the exact same. Literally that's pretty much what happened with me last year was just so many good movies that like it kind of steamrolled into like, damn, I want to talk about these. And now if I'm cool, I want this to be like a tradition. Like I like doing this. And it's cool because I do feel like this will be like a documentation of us becoming more familiar with the Academy over the years, because last year crazy year, like strong year. This year, bizarre year. It's very difficult to get a read on anything, and so it's fun. I'm excited to do this again. I also what was it? Oh, I listened to the first like 5 minutes of you had Spawnhauer on the other day. I was like, oh, it's Spawn's on, I'll throw that on while I'm cleaning or whatever. And, and the first, you were going on a big anti-winter tirade
because he
before we
was,
started
bro.
recording.
I swear, he hops on the recording. We haven't even said a word. He goes, God, winter's fucking miserable. I hate this shit. We're like, hey, Matt, good to see you, man.
And so, you said that, and I was like, no shot they make it through this segment without my name getting brought up. I feel like I've become the face of the fucking winter movement, and sure enough.
Do you want to say something while you have the same platform that Matthew had?
I mean, I don't like the thing. I really don't have that much hate in my heart for summer. I just prefer to be cold. And I'm on the same page with everybody else. February's not that fun. February's not like apex winter by any means. I'm not going to try to sell winter on February.
Sure.
I just get as frustrated with like, peak July as February, where it's just like, Jesus Christ. Like I can't, like 5 minutes outside, I'm cooked unless it's like 7:30 or later. But this time of year, it's not like winter's best showing by any means.
I almost feel like I'm not qualified to comment on this debate because I've never really lived in like the standard American climate in my life. When I was really little, I lived in Scotland, fucking cold as shit.
Yeah,
Then I lived in Bangkok, Thailand when I was older, like the hottest major city on the planet, rivaled only maybe by Phoenix, where I also lived. More insanely hot summers, and like they don't even have winters. Neither does Thailand. It's 90 in the winter in Thailand.
That's insane.
And then I've lived in the Bay Area for most of my life, which is just like the most moderate climate ever, where like you don't really have a summer or a winter. It's kind of just like 50 something to 70 something all the time.
Damn.
So I don't really have that normal like East Coast or South or even Midwest summer winter experience.
Yeah, I feel like Spawn and I have both been battle hardened. He's from Ohio, I know, and I'm from Nebraska. That's 2 states where the weather's just fucked. Like in Ohio, I bet it probably gets colder than it does in Nebraska, but in Nebraska, it's like, wind chill minus 20 in the winters sometimes, and then it'll be like 95, 100 degrees in the summer. So, yeah.
You're getting fucked on both ends, pal.
Yeah, I guess so. Fucking,
that's tough.
It's not. There should be like you have Father Time and Mother Nature. There should be like a non-binary representative for the seasons as well.
I'm sure there is.
Yeah.
Dr. Weather.
Dr. Weather? Okay, I can get behind that.
So you must be a huge fall guy, right? I feel like that's what most Americans are.
Yeah. I'm built on fall. Fall moves me the most for sure. It's the most romantic time of the year, I feel like. I mean, I don't even mean in necessarily the traditional sense. I mean,
that's how I took it.
Life has a certain Jenny says quoi to it. And yeah, I like fall. I mean,
a bit of French.
So like, do you have any strong feelings about any of that shit, Mr. Bangkok?
I mean,
Mr. California.
I love summer. I love summer because like I live in San Francisco and it's on average like cold here right now. Again, it doesn't get like winter cold elsewhere, but it's like 50 something. So like summer's better. The big thing that Spawn Hour keeps bringing up, which I think he's just cooking with, is the raw hours of daylight, man. If I want to go play basketball with my buddies at 6 p.m., I can't do that right now. I can certainly do it in the summer. I think that that's a big component in summer's favor. But then, like, if I were to rank my favorite months, I would say probably, like, the summer months are at the top, especially July. That's also my birthday month. And then, like, December's probably next because I fucking love the holidays.
Yeah. It's fair. The hours... There's no comeback
good point.
From that.
He's got you with that one.
There is no
that one.
And I've always maintained that part of it is a humanity, like daylight savings time makes it worse. It would be bad already, but like daylight savings time, we're just brutalizing ourselves for no reason.
100%. It's like, hey, here's the shortest time of the year. Let's make it shorter.
Yeah,
who the fuck came up with that?
I guess. I mean,
the farmers did, but I'm not getting up at 4 a.m. to reap the benefits of that earlier hour.
I hate farmers. They fucking I hate, any real like work industry like that. It's just like shut the fuck up. Come on.
What are you doing? Get a fucking microphone.
Get an email.
Get yourself
job.
a camera.
Come on.
Get real and just talk about sports or movies or the weather or the seasons or whatever the fuck you want. Because that's what we're doing here. We're already yapping totally off topic.
Well, I was going to say, this is a very, we should start a podcast type conversation. We're hitting weather for the first 7 minutes.
How about the weather we're having? But like at the same time, that's going to be the vibe today, We're sports guys. Today we're talking movies. We're just going to have fun with it. But we do have a format in mind, I promise. We're basically going to follow the same layout that we did last year, which was a loaded year for movies. Yes. 2023 was, I would say, definitely the best since 2019, which is my favorite movie year ever. This year, big picture, a good year. Not a remarkable year, but still a good year for movies, I think. What do you think?
I had a lot of fun at the movies this year. I would say the big distinction is that last year, I think my fun coincided more with the nominations. And so obviously we're making all the rules up here. We don't have to stick to just the nominations, and I think we're gonna start with the snubs and everything. But
we will.
Yeah. Like last year, I don't know. The one that stuck with me the most, even though it didn't come away with a ton of awards, was Anatomy of a Fall. You and I both gushed about that movie last year, and nothing that's like we're gonna talk about in these movies. Well, maybe a couple towards like the bottom of the nominations made me feel a similar way, but nothing that's like in real big swinging category for like best picture, best lead actor, actress, anything made me feel quite like those caliber of movies. What about you?
I agree, and then also just like the scale, the directors who made movies last year, Christopher Nolan with Oppenheimer, and obviously, you have Scorsese with Killers of the Flower Moon. You have Barbie. You have Greta Gerwig doing that. Like, there was just a lot of big-time players in the mix, and a lot of them were really throwing their fastball. Like, you go through the nominees, and Anatomy of a Fall was my favorite movie. I loved it last year. But you know what has aged second best to me?
What?
And this is a movie you were really high on that I really liked, but you were even higher on it than me. The Holdovers, man. I rewatched it over the holidays.
God.
Just a fucking delightful film.
Oh my God. I mean, yeah, like that speaks to the scale of the year last year. Is that like I didn't even bring up The Holdovers when we just talked about it, and I rewatched it as well. I think it in terms of longevity, making a holiday movie, like if you hit, you
it's
kind
OP.
of
It's
build
OP, yeah.
longevity into it. But with that one specifically, just incredible, memorable performances all over the fucking board. So many great quotes, so many great moments, and yeah, that one. I mean, what a year! What a year last year!
What
man.
a year, dude! And the international films last year: Anatomy of a Fall, Zone of Interest, Past Lives. It was a strong fucking year. It was a strong year for movies.
Hey, international films this year. Oh my
yeah,
God.
we'll get to the big one.
Yeah,
we'll get to the big one, man. I honestly can't wait to talk about it. But we're gonna start on the opposite side of the spectrum with the snubs. What movies do stand out to you as being snubbed here for whatever specific categories you thought they really excelled in? What movies did you really, really enjoy that aren't represented here where you think they should be?
First off, 0 nominations, challengers.
I knew, yeah, you were gonna start.
And
there.
you're a big tennis guy, right?
Huge tennis guy. Was huge representation on the screen for us. The tennis scenes were done very well. They got a lot of the details down of just like equipment stuff, aesthetics. It was very well done on the tennis front, which I really appreciated.
Yeah.
And that was actually my experience as a junior tennis player as well. I had a wild 3-way love triangle, and frankly, I was just trying to get at my boy the whole time. I think we should also say this is going to be a spoiler-full episode. I don't think there's any way
If you
that.
have not seen these movies, I would say, like, let's make are you going to put timestamps in the description or whatever so people could jump around?
Yeah.
Hey, beautiful. You could do it on State of the League. What we do is I actually say the timestamps out loud as I write them down into my phone. So it's a fun little,
That's good for the viewer.
the production quality is
unbelievable.
It's incredible. And so, what were we just talking about?
Challengers.
Oh, and
tennis.
spoilers and everything.
Sorry,
yeah. So like people can jump around, but everything that we're going to talk about, I would implore you guys to go watch most of these movies. There might be a couple here that aren't necessarily worth 2.5 hours of your life, but a lot of these, even the ones that like I didn't personally care for, I don't have any besides the obvious one that I'm like, this was a waste of time, and like I disagree with like it being here fundamentally. Challengers, how did you like? The big one is Score. Obviously.
I totally agree.
Like
the Score was
where
awesome.
You thought it was going to be a layup, kind of like watching it in the theater. It was just like nothing's made me feel this way so far, and really since it's just like that. It's this huge EDM soundtrack the entire time, especially during either like sex or tennis scenes,
which are so similar in so many ways.
I'm saying, and for such like a quote unquote sexy movie, the tennis is almost the most erotic part of the film.
Oh, it is, my friend. Very insightful. Also, they totally like kind of oversold in the trailers. Not like the sexiness of the movie, but they made it seem like it was going to be more overtly sexual, I think. Like, I think a lot of people walked into theaters thinking they were going to see some, like, steamy threesome, which, like, never happens. It's a lot more just, you know, of the tension, the sexual tension, and a lot of that is taken out on the tennis court, which, again, was my experience as a boy as well.
Hey, no, yeah, there's just, that's all, it's all tension. You're hitting, you're just smacking the shit out of it. You're like, damn, dude.
Don't get me too excited, pal.
Yeah, I'm getting the fucking workout going here. So yeah, challengers in Score. But I really wouldn't have been upset in like a number of other categories.
Director, give Luca a little love. I thought he cooked.
I thought he did too. I thought director, editing, and I don't know about cinematography, but editing I'm very firm on. Like it could have been there no problem, just because there were so many incredible sequences. Obviously the like glass bottom where they're like hitting the ball back and forth, and then you become the ball. That whole sequence.
Some very creative shots in there.
Yeah, that's like one of the defining, I don't know, sequences of the year in movies to me. Like that stands out when I think of like the craziest shit I saw done with a camera.
Yeah. You know what's funny? I kind of prefer just when we were getting like a conventional view, because I just really wanted to take in the tennis. I was like, these tennis scenes are really well done. I feel like I'm just at this, and this is just like a match at a Challengers tournament, which, you know, I've been to several in my life. It's fun.
Yeah.
You're right there.
So Challengers, I feel like that's the big one. I'll throw it up to you. Where do you feel like a snub was next?
I mean, that's the one, dude. Like, I look around and basically everything else, it's just movies that were nominated for things but got snubbed in categories. The only other one that isn't here once, and it's honestly a reach, I just wanted to shout out Jesse Plemons for what he did in Civil War, because he fucking stole the show.
Okay.
He's only in like 10 minutes of that movie, but that guy is unbelievable and just so unnerving. So great.
Oh my god, yeah, yeah. Unnerving is a good word for it, for sure. That one, I remember. Unfortunate experience in the theater for me with that one. I went with an ear infection, and so my ear was already kind of hurting. It's the loudest fucking movie I've ever been to. Oh my god, I was sitting like halfway through, just finger in my ear, being like,
"That's awesome."
This is, but he really stood out. I mean, everybody in that movie, I don't know, it did a good fucking job. Like, I don't know. There was a lot of contentions about the, I don't know, statement of it all, or lack of a thesis statement with it, which I guess that's like fine if you went into it desperate for something like that. I wasn't really expecting a lot on that front, and I don't know. Once you get over that, it was a very beautiful movie, with like a lot of interesting set pieces and everything.
And some good performances, I thought. I thought it was solid overall. You talking about your ear infection reminded me, when I was watching The Substance, I went with my girlfriend and 3 of my friends, and my girlfriend and one of my friends are like super into movies as well, and they liked it. And then I went with 2 of my friends who aren't like super into movies necessarily.
Yeah.
Both fucking detested it. And I look over, and I've got this one friend who's a real character. He goes through all sorts of crazy phases in life. For a time, he was a carnivore. He's got all sorts of beliefs that are controversial. But I look over, and he's just fully like hands over his ears. I'm like, dude, we're in a movie, man. Can you not be such a fucking freak about this? He hated it.
He's scared. The ASMR is too much. The slop of it all.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, it was pretty fucking loud. That was about as loud a scene in a movie. The Substance, just when shit goes off the rails and you got Monster Eliza Sue. Outside of that, dude, like, I don't think that Dune 2 got enough love. I think it should have been more nominated, and I think it has like 5 nominations. The fact that Denis didn't get a shout for director, what the fuck, man?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy because you and I were renegades in this industry.
Yeah, we are.
In the movie industry, we're pioneers. Yeah, we're mavericks doing our own
We're
thing.
disruptors. We're disrupting the industry. They've never seen 2 white guys with a podcast before.
But when I was listening to other movie podcasts, looking for like points to parrot and just steal for my own, everybody was just like, Dune 2 didn't get that much. Moving on, and I guess that's fair if, you know, like, it's been so long since you've seen it, and a lot of the other podcasts that I was listening to kind of approach it purely from the perspective of who is going to win, and like tallying up who everybody gets right at the end of the thing and seeing who wins the Oscars or whatever. And that's not what we're doing here. No. And so to just look at it from like the perspective of the art or whatever, the movie, God damn, what an experience in the theater. One of the only, I think the only movie I saw in theaters 3 times this year. Because I
saw it twice in theaters.
If this is the only time I'm going to be able to go see it for a while, like, this is just something that I want to just consume as much as possible in the intended format and everything. And so yeah, specifically, I don't know if you can get double noms, but Timothy Chalamet for that and for Complete Unknown. I feel like he was just as good in Dune.
He was better in Dune.
Yeah, he wasn't.
I would have 100% given it to him for Dune 2 over A Complete Unknown.
Yeah,
A Complete Unknown, he just goes around and he's like, "Eh, man, fuck you."
The son of the
How does it feel?
The son of the young man to die.
Was bad.
Yeah,
like, all right, thanks, Timmy.
Which, like, that
I love,
movie,
by the way. I love Timmy, but Dune 2, that was
God.
like maybe his best performance, how he fucking grew into Paul and what he becomes.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
I didn't know that he had it in him. I didn't know that he had it in him to be menacing and intense and a fucking strong authority figure like that. I was impressed.
Yeah. And so I am on board with that. Specifically, I'm not going to, like, dig my heels in because you get 1 Best Actor nomination. It's whatever. Like, I don't expect him to get 2. But Denis for director, one of the most talented working filmmakers making this, I don't know if it's his magnum opus or whatever. Maybe you prefer Arrival or Sicario or whatever else he's done. But
Prisoners. Can we just shout out to Prisoners?
Shout out to Prisoners. Shout out to Terrence Howard, baby. But
yeah,
I always love him in the defining performance of that movie, baby. But yeah, Denis, one of the most successful, talented filmmakers working, creating just this fucking monument and not really getting that much back for it. It is a bit disappointing.
It is. The other biggest snub that stands out to me, and this is a movie that is acknowledged in the Oscar nominations, but not enough overall. And I literally just watched it. We postponed the recording by an hour so I could watch this, dude. Sing Sing, supporting actor, Clarence Macklin.
Clarence Macklin, dude.
Holy shit, dude. Like, I would have strongly considered that for the win for supporting actor. He was unbelievable. No nod.
Yeah, I mean, spoiler alert. So I wrote down for every category, I wrote down, think will win, my pick, like as two separate things. Clarence Macklin is my pick for supporting actor. Just, I mean, it's not just that the movie doesn't work without him. It's that, like, hey, he is the wind in the movie's sails. Like, watching this person kind of, you know, be rehabilitated by the art. Like, it's literally rehabilitation for the arts or whatever. Just watching his transformation into, I don't know, I'm not going to say like a better person or whatever, but like just, watching him become a person who's like ready to re-enter society and like, I don't know, not
be
just
open,
continue.
Be vulnerable.
Yeah, all this shit. I mean, the whole movie, I do feel like it's underrepresented here. I would have put it in cinematography. I would have put it in Best Picture. But it didn't get either of those. And so, yeah, it is what it is. We're just going to sing its praises here.
Hello. It was unbelievable. Like I said, I just finished watching it before we hopped on this recording, and I cried. I think it was the only movie of 2024 that made me cry. I had little wet tears running down my cheeks, and I had to clean it up and come on here and try to look tough. But he was incredible, and the character is based on him in some way, or like he's playing a fictionalized version of himself. He was part of the program. I didn't get to read up on it a lot because I just finished it.
So from what I've gathered is several people featured in the program in the movie were in the program in real life.
So cool.
And Clarence Macklin is playing a fictionalized version of himself in the movie. And so that's like the other thing that took me by surprise was like some of the people, my girlfriend told me that. She was like, well, they're like, they were in the program in real life. Now they're in the movie. And some of the people supporting people, I was like, okay, I could see that. Like, very talented. I love what they're doing on screen. But not for a second. I was always like, Clarence Macklin is like classically trained Shakespearean actor working at the top of his fucking game. And to come out on the other side of the movie and learn that, I was just like, oh, what an immense talent. Like, I really do hope to see him in more stuff because he was just so good.
He was unbelievable and just like so authentic. It was just a beautiful, layered performance. He covered so many bases emotionally. Such a great arc. That movie was fucking incredible, dude. And I do think it's a crime that it's not nominated for Best Picture because, like, I'm not joking. I would have considered it to win Best Picture. Like, it was one of my 3 favorite movies of the year.
Same.
I would say. Yeah. Should we get into Best Picture? Should we run through all the nominees and give our takes, or are there any more snubs that you want to shout out before we get started with that?
Other snubs, I don't really think. I would shout out. I saw the TV Glow. It was never gonna make like awards or anything. But it was, and that was one that I watched the first time. It really made me re-examine the headspace I enter movies with because I did not like it the first time, and everybody was like, "You're stupid," and I was like, "Hey, I'll revisit it. I'll go back," and I liked it a lot on second viewing. I thought it was very good, and I don't know, for a year where the Academy seems to be angling in a more socially conscious direction with some of these picks.
They're trying, at least.
Yeah. Well, this is
maybe
is a
they
movie,
put their chips in on the wrong one.
This is a movie that hits on a lot of the important themes that they were aiming for and maybe missed the mark on.
Yeah, similarly to you. In fact, I think that we actually talked about this on Twitter a little bit. I didn't love I Saw the TV Glow. I know that I'm not necessarily the person who is supposed to be the arbiter of how good that movie is.
No, that's why we're doing this podcast, because we decide who's good and what's bad.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah, so it's a bad movie now. Sorry, everybody.
I didn't think it was bad. I don't know. I just wasn't wowed by it. But maybe with a rewatch, maybe like having a better sense of like the prism that I should be viewing everything through, maybe I would like it more. I thought the performance was good from the lead
Justice?
actor.
I can't remember
Justice
their name.
Smith, I want to say his name
They're
is.
also in the Dungeons and Dragons movie, alongside like Chris Pine and everybody. But yeah, very, very, very strong lead performance there.
Strong lead performance.
Yeah. Okay. Let's do Best Picture. Let's get through all of it.
Let's
where
get
do you
into
want
it.
to start?
I think let's start with Nickel Boys, which I just watched last night.
Oh my God. I do
Gut
want to
punch
flex
of a film.
I want to flex this on you real quick, because last year you got to drop that you were a member of the Screen Actors Guild. Yeah.
We stand with our beautiful actors and writers all, although now the strike is over. We've won.
Yeah, we've won. We're on top. There's no you don't need to strike. No one needs to work for anything anymore. So I tweeted that I was watching Nickel Boys, and I woke up the next one because I do like a now watching type thing, and then I quote it with my thoughts or whatever. And the lead from Nickel Boys, Ethan Harris, the darker skinned guy, he DM'd me and he said, "Dude, I'm a huge fan of your stuff. Thanks for checking out the movie." And I was like, I triple checked. I was like, this has got to be fake. This is like a fake thing reaching out to me or whatever. But no, it's the real guy. It's a friend of the program, Ethan Harris, who
holy shit, great performance.
If we want to talk about like just, oh my God, just overwhelming.
Why don't we get him on the pod, bro?
That's on me. I should have reached.
Well, you had to save this banger to flex on me in real time. We could have gotten the actor behind Elwood on the fucking pod.
Maybe I'm saving for State of the League. I'm selfish. What can I say?
Yeah, you're such a dick. He was great. I also thought Brandon Wilson, who played Turner, his best friend, I thought that guy maybe could have gotten a supporting actor. I thought that he was phenomenal. He just carried a very distinct energy in this very dark movie of like, not outright like positivity, not to say that he was just like a ray of sun throughout the movie, but like there was just a genuine kindness that he had that wasn't very present in Nickel Academy and just this like very cruel world. I thought that he portrayed it very well. Yeah.
So yeah, the way I kind of interpreted it, like Elwood, just like two fundamentally different approaches to like living as a person of color in a very like racist time and part of the world. It seemed like Elwood was like, we can change things, and Turner was like, these are the way things are, and I'm gonna like live the best life that I can in the framework of all of this. And through that, I thought Turner introduced a levity to the film that was pretty critical, because so much of the rest of it is just gut-wrenching stuff. I mean, the first 35 minutes alone, I mean, watching this person's life completely fall apart because they got into the wrong car, and that's it. Everything's over.
It's so fucked. I watched the start with my girlfriend, and then we stopped, and I ended up finishing it by myself, and I went in after, and I was like, that movie got really fucking good, but also like just tragic, just like a painful watch. And I was like, do you want me to tell you what happened? And she was like, he goes to college, because that's like the exact point at which she stopped watching. And I was like, oh, I wish our dear Elwood just went off to college. Nope. Not quite, unfortunately.
I don't remember exactly the point, but I held on hope for too long. I was like, maybe we'll see him. Maybe we don't spend the whole movie at Nickel Academy. And
I think they wanted us to think that with the flashes forward to Elwood.
Which was, I'm curious, how did you feel about that? Did it work for you?
It worked for me. For me. There was something very classic about the end to that movie. It felt like a very classic, tragic ending to a film. A film that was like very distinct, obviously, because of the direction. It's so distinct, and like so much of the movie is shot from like the POV angles, like very, very cool, very different. But there was something about just like the tragic, two friends try to get away, one can't, one assumes the other's identity, that I was like, that's a movie ending, man, and it really fucking worked for me.
Yeah.
And it was a tragic twist because you thought he was going to make it, of course. And then you go back and you think about the scene where he runs into Pete, the other guy who was at the school in the bar.
Chicky Pete,
and he's
baby.
like, what was
Chicky
that
Pete's
kid?
Gonna be all right. Yeah.
Chicky Pete's going to be all right. Sad scene. But then he's like talking to him about, what was that other kid? And he can't remember his name. And obviously you think he's talking to Elwood about Turner. I thought it was well done. I thought it was all well done.
Yeah, no. I liked all of it. I never felt like it really detracted from the story or anything. And I don't know. To me, like I watched it, and I'm not always a guy who catches everything the first time through. Like I've seen movies with similar plot, turns, twists, where at the end I'm like, I gotta get on Reddit. I'm not totally locked into what's going on here. With that one, it was pretty. I was like, oh, okay, yeah. Like it's a terribly tragic thing, but like I understand exactly what happened, and so yeah. So yeah,
it's been a harrowing last 24 hours of movies for me. Lots of racism, lots of correctional facilities. Sing Sing was definitely more positive overall, but still,
yes, yeah,
that's the thing. Sadness in that movie.
Sing Sing did I don't know. Prison. It still looked terrible. It's just like a lot of prison movies you see, kind of narrow in on like the actual violence and brutality of it all, whereas I thought Sing Sing did a really good job of like capturing
very, very humanizing,
like the way it dehumanizes you, even like this like esteemed cultured gentleman Divine G, but so Nickel Boys, I probably like top 2 movie of the year for me.
Wow, interesting. So we have a strong Best Picture contender that we're starting off with in Nickel Boys for Jack. Let's talk about what I think is a very strong Best Picture contender, Anora. What did you think of Anora? Oh, are we going to disagree on this one?
I think we are. And this is, I swear to God, I'm not trying to be like, have like a woke take or be different. There is something that I just did not click with Anora, and I like a lot of it. I've heard, and I've tried to like reapproach it the way I did. I saw the TV Glow, and it really didn't work for me. Maybe I should go at it a third time. But I never felt super, I guess, emotionally compelled in either direction with Anora. I hear people talk about it as like this interesting blend of like comedy and thrills, like it hits both sides of that spectrum. And outside of like the last 15-20 minutes, I was never like I never felt like super strongly about this movie. But at the same time, I do, a lot of the people involved craft wise I have a lot of respect for, like the performances all around I have a lot of respect for. Most of the direction I have a lot of respect for and everything, and I definitely understand why it's here in this year. But yeah, for me personally, I don't know. I didn't love it. But what was your take on it? I want to hear the positive spin.
I did love it. Well, the first thing, and this is the most important thing, is I fucking love goons. I love
it's
goons.
A goon movie. Oh man.
Dude, you give me some Armenians and some Russians and everybody's incompetent and we're getting multiple languages and it's a screwball comedy. I'm going to eat that right the fuck up. I thought Mikey Madison gave the performance of the year. She is just like one of those actors, performers who just like fully immersed me in the character, and I just felt that like she was that person end to end, and it's such a distinct character, and I just thought that she had like such a dynamic energy the entire time that she was on screen. And apparently there's a lot of like improvisation and like the comedic scenes, which I think is great because they fucking nailed it. I thought that all of the comedy stuff really did hit for me, and then they can just like transition back into, at the end, this much more serious sort of grounded tone, and then you have like this pretty profound moment of like emotional vulnerability at the end. I thought the performances from everybody were phenomenal. I thought that Mark Eidelstein, is that his name, was awesome. I thought that Yuri Borisov, who plays like the guy who ends up being her kind of love interest at the end, I thought that he was phenomenal. Yeah, Baldy, you could call him. Kind of looks like my buddy Logan. Yeah, okay. I really, really loved this movie. I think that it was one of my 3 favorites of the year because I was just totally engaged end to end, and it struck so many different chords, and all of them worked for me.
Yeah, I don't know. I did want to, like, I went into it full pilled. I was like, this is what people are telling me is the movie of the year, and I wanted to enjoy it, and I just didn't, as much as people were like hyping me up to. And so maybe that's like part of the problem, is the expectations that I had heading into it. And I am very willing to revisit it in the future, but yeah, for whatever reason, a lot of the emotional notes prior to the ending didn't click for me. I did think it was pretty funny. A lot of the scenes were pretty good, and I do agree. The Mikey Madison thing specifically, and the improv thing specifically, her performance, from what I've heard, like in the script on paper, not a ton there. And so for us to come out on the other end of that with this character, who I do agree is like one of the strongest points of the movie, despite a lot of the criticisms that like she's, you know, like sidelined or whatever in the actual narrative, for it to be just such a strong, lasting image. I do like her performance a lot, and I think it's a good moment for her, because I think a more famous person who's been in a lot more shit, maybe those kinds of people, it's harder to immerse yourselves in those performances because you're looking directly at, you know, Demi Moore or Leonardo DiCaprio or whoever. And so for Mikey to hit this at this sick up and coming role moment, very, very exciting for her, and I'm happy for her.
Yeah, she nailed it. And I think that the improvisation, again, I don't know the exact extent of it, but like I've heard that there was a good bit of it, and you very much get that sense, and it just like adds a realism to these kind of absurd situations where like when you have a bunch of people improvising and talking over each other, like there's just a chaos to it that you're like, this is exactly how it would be. I just think I really like that style of dialogue where you give like an outline and then you let people work. Like, you know, Curb Your Enthusiasm probably has like my favorite dialogue in all of media because it just feels real. Like people are just putting together sentences as they would. And I really appreciated that about Anora as well. I really, really did like it. So interesting. They were a bit split on that one.
I am gargantuan minority. Like I have looked around online.
Well, straight white man, but okay.
Hey, I know. Well, I'm the most marginalized person in society. That's the thing. Is that, like,
well, second only to me, but yeah.
Okay, wow. Well, you're blonde, so I don't know. There's probably less blonde people. I'll give you that.
Point.
Yeah. So
I'm sort of a strawberry blonde. I sort of straddle a line, you know. Whoa, okay. Some people have said brown haired. Some people have said ginger. I get all sorts of stuff.
I've gotten a lot of ginger in my time. But yeah. So overall with Anora, again, for me personally, it's a much different, because I just watched the entirety of Emilia Perez last night.
Oh God.
That I walked, because like before that I was like, damn, I really like Anora, like I just don't know how I feel, like it's not clicking for me, do I not like this movie, blah blah blah. Great to have a benchmark for a bad movie that I don't like with Emilia Perez.
Holy shit, man. I mean, let's get into it, because
let's do it.
I do think that we will agree about the masterpiece that is Emilia Perez. So much to say about this movie. So unlike you, I couldn't finish it. I watched maybe 45, 50 minutes of this movie months ago. It was recommended to me by my Italian teacher, who is Spanish and French, and a wonderful, wonderful woman. I don't mean to disparage her, but she really, really liked it. So I said, okay, I'll watch it. And I watched it, and it was the fucking most atrocious thing that I've ever seen. And when we got to the scene where the kid is singing to Emilia, and she's like, hueles como papá, hueles a la comida, picante, picante. At that point, my girlfriend was like, okay, can we please stop? And I was like, yes, we can stop. Yeah. That song's great. That song's great. And then it starts getting like super weird, because she starts like describing smells that nobody smells like. She's like talking about how her dad smelled, and she's like, olía como gasolina, olía como Coca-Cola light con limón. And you're like, what? Nobody smells like fucking Coke Zero with lemon. Olía como un nuevo Mitsubishi like? Outlander. You're like, who are the corporate sponsors behind this scene?
Yeah. Just a car crash of a movie from start to finish.
Literally at the finish. I didn't get that far, but
oh my God, dude. Okay, so it's not worth it. It's not worth it to spend 2 hours watching it just to get the payoff of like the car crash in context.
Yeah.
Holy fuck. Watching it like actively though, I laughed. I had to pause it. I laughed for like 10 minutes because so in the context of the film, this is spoilers. We're spoiling everything. The titular character, Emilia Perez, has been stuffed into the trunk of a car with Selena Gomez and her lover Gustavo tearing out into the Mexican countryside, running away from like a hostage exchange gone wrong type deal. So Emilia Perez is this person who, we've kind of spent, I assume the direction of the movie was spending this entire 2 hours building up, love and respect, growing closer to Emilia Perez, getting, I don't know, inside of her mind and understanding the struggle and the difficulty of living a life like that. They take this character, they put her in the trunk, and launch the fucking car off a cliff. And so you're just left, the last image you really get of this person is just the idea that they are inside of a tin can being like shaken to death down the rocky side of a cliff face before the car erupts into flames and explodes. It's insane.
Yeah. Like I said, I didn't get that far, but the entire movie really was a car crash. I mean, there's so much wrong with it that you almost don't even know where to start. I think let's start with the fact that this is a musical that appears to be written by somebody who has never heard a song before. And I mean that literally. There is no rhythm to the songs. There is like hardly any instrumentation of note. Like it's just like talk singing in the worst way ever. Like every song is so unbelievably bad. Like, everybody talks about the man to woman, woman to man. The penis to vagina song. But you know what I think is underrated is the one where fucking Zoe Saldana is talking to the Israeli doctor and she's just like, "Doctor, I know you did a lot of studies." It's like a movie that appears to be written by somebody who has never heard music, and the language is so fucking weird. It's a movie in English and Spanish that feels like it's not written by somebody who spoke either English or Spanish as a first language, and it literally is. Written by somebody who didn't speak either of those languages as a first language. I was going
to ask how much like background information you have on this movie.
I've got the background, dude. Like, I didn't finish it, but like I said, I've had months to just bask in the atrocity that it was. So I've got the lore.
Yeah, so Emilia Perez, 13 nominations. 13. One of the most nominated movies in the history of the Academy Awards. 2 nominations for Best Original Song, which is insane.
That killed me, bro.
Yeah.
That killed me.
And which, like, again, challengers, no nominations. No. Emilia Perez gets 2 songs in here. The music,
I almost feel like Best Original Song should be like an on and off category. Like some years you have it and some years you don't. Like last year, there were like a lot of like really standout original songs, right? Like you had the Billie Eilish song in Barbie. You had a number of songs. The song from Killers of the Flower Moon. You had the Dua Lipa song from Barbie.
There's probably a Poor Thing song in there, I feel like.
Like, there was a bunch. This year, like, I didn't think that we just needed to have that category if we're gonna have fucking.
It's kind of like a clutch player of the year a little bit.
Exactly.
It's like
we don't need it every year.
You get a De'Aaron Fox here where he's putting 50-foot buzzer beaters every other night. It's dope. Give him the trophy. But like if we're just going like fourth quarter by fourth quarter, who has more clutch points? That's like such a boring way to give out what should be a cool award. So
I agree.
The music sucks. The director sucks. Apparently the lead actress sucks.
I saw her tweets. Appalling.
I didn't see all of them. I saw a lot that were like Islam's fucked up, Islam's bad or whatever. And the vibe that people have described, it's like a Caitlyn Jenner type beat kind of. So like, yes, a trans woman, but like trans women can be, like insane conservative people as well. And so that's kind of, I don't know, the person they ended up being.
Yeah, a couple of pretty nasty tweets that I saw. Super racist stuff. And then the director, just some real misses of comments from him, talking about how he felt no need to do anything to learn about the culture of Mexico because he already understands it so perfectly. And the depiction of Mexico, I would say, is very limited and probably very much what a
Mexico
French guy would think of Mexico.
Entirely like street markets and drug cartel meetups.
Yeah, exactly. And I know a lot of Mexican people are very, very upset with the depiction. And then like I said, man, the Spanish is weird, you know, because I do speak Spanish, and like I don't speak Mexican Spanish specifically, right? I kind of speak a combination of just things.
I was going to ask about this because I don't speak any Spanish. So Selena Gomez is the Spanish that people have pointed out as bad. Is it bad?
It's so bad, Jack. It's so bad that when you see people trying to justify the casting decision, being like, well, the point is that her character was born in America, so she doesn't speak perfect Spanish. It's like, that's not a plausible explanation here. Her Spanish is so bad, and I'm not exaggerating, that it is not possible that she could be thinking in the language as she speaks it. Like, it is clear that she does not know what she is saying.
Damn.
That she has memorized lines that have been given to her, and she's doing her best, which, like, isn't her fault. She never should have been cast in a movie and presented as a Spanish speaker of any degree. It's that bad. It's like if you had a movie in English and the concept was like, oh, well, this guy was like born in Russia, but like he's lived here for a long time. He's married to an American woman. He speaks English like well as a second language. And then he comes in and he's like, hey, man, you want to go to the store? And you're like, well, that doesn't quite sound right. That's not believable.
Did you
like,
just get here, dude? Like, why do you sound like that?
Is somebody holding up things for you to read? That's the level of Spanish that she is speaking.
Damn. And it's especially, I don't mean to keep bringing it back to last year or whatever, because I do think it's probably more fair to just approach these things in like the vacuum of the year that they happened or whatever. But coming off of a year where I think specifically to Oppenheimer and Killers of the Flower Moon, where we got two of the best directors of all time doing incredibly meticulous footwork to give us this just picture that was accurate. And specifically Killers of the Flower Moon honored, you know, like a people of color who went through a very difficult time, and that's not exactly the same thing that's happening here in Emilia Perez. But for this fucking French guy to come out and be like, kind of already know all of Mexico.
C'est bon. I know it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have been to Mexico once or twice. Yeah, and so it's just an incredible shortcoming on a million different fronts. And I think specifically when we talk about Sing Sing and Nickel Boys as, you know, incredible movies that are telling important stories about, you know, racism in the 60s, or, you know, the prison system in America, these you know, marginalized stories or whatever, for the Academy to just completely push those to the side in favor of this movie that like kind of signals that they care about these issues, but in reality completely disrespects all of them. Like I don't see how this movie like really has any caliber of like pro-trans message to it at all. Yeah, it's sad.
And like I know that a lot of trans people have been upset with the depiction and said like it's not really representative of their experiences, and like I didn't even make it to this point, but I've heard this cited a lot as like a pretty bad depiction of the trans experience. Of like at some point Emilia gets like super mad at Selena Gomez, right? And basically like at least this is what I heard, she like reverts into like a man voice and like gets super violent, and it's like insinuating that like every trans woman inside them still has like this violent, dangerous man that can just come out at any moment. And it's like just misses on misses, man. Just like every single thing about this, it's like this French guy was just like, I want to make a musical that's largely set in Mexico and in Spanish about the trans experience, and I don't know anything about any of those things, but I'm just going to take a stab at it.
Yeah. Just a monumental shortcoming that was on track to be rewarded in a, like this insane, historic fashion. And now that these tweets have come out, I, as someone who was waiting till the last minute to watch Emilia Perez, it fell off the face of the earth after these tweets came out. And so that's part of the reason that so much feels up in the air about the actual awards, is like a lot of these were in line to be won by Emilia Perez, and now it's like I don't know anyone who would vote after all of this stuff has happened.
Yeah. Well, when does the voting take place? Like,
I know it was shortly after the tweets came out. So that's like, good. Yeah, it was factored into the voting. I'm pretty.
That's
sure.
good, but also like not the reason that this movie is a fucking absolute piece of shit.
Yes, it has nothing to do with
like
that.
Obviously, Carla Sofia Gascon shouldn't be saying a bunch of racist stuff, and that's a condemnation of her. But this movie is an absolute dumpster fire for every reason that is to do with the movie, not any of like the people outside. Yeah. It's the worst Best Picture nominee that I'm aware of.
Yeah, I'm trying to. This made me want to watch Crash because.
Yeah, I know Crash is one that gets brought up a lot, and that won.
Mm-hmm. And so I feel like this, if none of that shit happened, this probably would have, or at least, I mean, it still will probably give a lot of it'll finish a lot of better or above better movies, but yeah, so it sucks.
13 nominations.
It
doesn't deserve a single nomination.
Yeah, it sucks. It just like the lows of this movie are unimaginably bad. It's not a fun bad movie even. It's incredibly boring for vast stretches, and this is the one that I would say not worth your time to watch, really. The rest of them, even like Anora didn't like personally, absolutely everyone should watch Anora and develop their own fucking opinion on it, because that's something that I respect the approach to the craft a lot more.
Yeah, the only argument for watching Emilia Perez is just if you want like the so bad it's good experience.
Mm-hmm.
Like it arguably has that, but even still, like it's too bad to be enjoyable to me. But it is like it's comical at times.
Yeah. If it was 90 minutes in this bad, maybe I could have a good time. But like
that's why maybe just do what I did. Give yourself a taste. Get yourself to the halfway point, and then say, you know what, I think I've had enough. But like the only movie that I can think of that I thought was even remotely comparably bad that got a Best Picture nominee in the time that I've been paying attention was Bohemian Rhapsody, which I still haven't seen in entirety. I just thought that movie was fucking horrible.
Every clip I've ever seen, I was like, this
like
is
I've just
stupid.
Like seen it in phases, you know, like it'll just be on and I'll watch like 45 minutes of it and I'm like, yeah, everything about this, the writing, the acting, the editing, this all sucks. But this takes it up another level because the themes are also problematic. One of a kind disaster that our boy Jacques has given us with this one. Thank you very much for that. Let's talk about Timmy movie number 1 on the Best Picture slate. Not Dune 2. We'll save that. No, let's start with The Complete Unknown, which he was, of course, nominated for Best Actor for. What did you think of this?
I had a very good time with it. I think it, to me, felt like we're going a tier down from like the Nickel Boys Sing Sing level that I hit. But as someone that doesn't know anything about Bob Dylan, really, not like a super huge Bob Dylan music guy. I've listened to more post-movie, definitely. Yeah. But he's got going into it, I'm not listening to his shit front to back or anything. Enjoyable time with several very standout performances, and especially coming off a conversation about Bohemian Rhapsody, I felt much more comfortable in this movie about like being immersed in the time period and the events of what were going on.
Yeah, I agree. When he first gets to New York, they're talking about Y.A. Tittle on the radio. That fired me up. You familiar with Y.A. Tittle, New York Giants legend? No. Yeah, good quarterback back in the 50s. So that really got me into it. He's Timmy, man. He's great. You know, he's doing his thing in this movie. He's Bob Dylan-ing it up and very much immersive in that character. Mm-hmm. I thought it was interesting that like Bob Dylan is not depicted favorably in this movie. No. But like I think he fucked with the movie, which I respect. Like he comes across as a total dick.
I don't know. I wasn't going into it expecting him to be depicted favorably. My girlfriend has yet to watch this, and I'm very excited to see what she has to say about it because she is someone who has watched a lot more music biopics than I have. And I texted her I was going into it, and I don't have service in the theater, so I was like, talk to you later. I walk out. She had like predicted beat by beat pretty much everything that was going to happen in the movie about like he's forced to choose between two women and then he's got to and then all this other stuff going on. And so in that capacity, I guess maybe some other people might not enjoy it as much, but I had a good time.
I think within the scope of the music biopic genre, which is generally a really bad genre, this was upper echelon. It's not a great movie. It's like a solid 7 out of 10, enjoyable, because you do compare it to like Bohemian Rhapsody or Elvis, which
I didn't
was
see
also
Elvis.
Best
How
Picture
was
nominated.
it?
Oh my God, Jack! I should have brought that up. That's one of the worst movies to be nominated ever. You have fucking Tom Hanks doing his Tom Hanks thing where he ruins every movie. He's white, and he comes in and he's doing this absurd fucking, I guess, Dutch accent, but like Tom Hanks just is not good, and Austin Butler is good, but like the script is absurd, bro. Like the main conflict of the movie is he's fucking wiggling on stage. He's like, I'm a wiggling. And then the cops come in and they're like, you can't be doing that up on stage now. And they arrest him.
Nice.
It's an absurd, weird montage of a movie. So like when I compare it to some of the other music biopics, I like that it didn't try to cover too much. It's only like 6 years of his life or whatever. And you just hit on some of the key events. And then you have like the final scene at the folk festival where he goes electric. And I thought it was really good. I thought Edward Norton was just delightful in this movie as Pete Seeger. Oh, just such a sweet, gentle performance.
Just play acoustic, please.
Just play, Bob. Well, I figure, Bob, if we all bring our little spoons and we dig it up, then eventually we'll get it done. But golly, if you didn't bring a shovel. I'm like, I fucking love that guy. I want that guy to be my grandpa.
Drunk rock star. Fuck you, old man.
Get the fuck out of here, man.
Yeah.
I'm trying to do heroin.
I will say, the conflict in this movie, I definitely, I guess, respected a bit more than the premise you laid out in Elvis, where that's clearly stupid. Where it's like, for the time, hey, you can't dance, and dancing's bad, or whatever. But
and they just, like, totally brush over Priscilla being underage, being, like, 13 or whatever, when they start going steady. And then, I don't know if you saw Priscilla, the movie.
No.
It's really good. It's much better. Jacob Elordi is really good. I forget that lead actress name, but she's very good.
Well, I'll check
that worthwhile
one.
watch.
I won't check out Elvis.
Don't.
Yeah, but so the conflict here of like, I don't know whether or not to go electric and to like, conform to the grassroots people that need you more, or pursue your like passions or creativity as like the artist. That is a conflict that has aged much better than not being allowed to shake your hips on stage or whatever. And so I felt like it was a movie that didn't, like deify him. He was a fucked up guy for a lot of the movie, and it didn't necessarily take a stand either way. It was like, hey, there was a lot of political shit going down in the 60s that if he had like dug his heels in on, he probably would have been a big force for good. But on the other side of that, like, is being true to yourself and how you feel, more important than whatever that is. And so I overall, I agree. Just good. I enjoyed it.
Good, enjoyable film. I think that it falls in sort of the mid-tier of the nominees for this year.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the only other international nominee along with Emilia Perez. I'm Still Here. What did you think of this one?
I just got to see this one, and they brought it back to theaters. And so I just got to check this out like 2 or 3 days ago.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you what, I don't know if I'm just a sucker for like, it's serious movie time. We have to sit down and be serious, and this is a sad, serious movie. And then I walk out at the other end, and I'm like, damn, that was a good, serious movie. But I really enjoyed I'm Still Here. It's a subject matter that's very, like, interesting, like disappearances in South America due to, like, dictatorial regimes or whatever. And it's an exploration of that subject matter in how disappearances affect like the hole in people's lives, affects the people that remain. I thought it was incredible. I had a really good time with this movie.
Incredible. Interesting.
I mean, to me, it nestles very firmly between Complete Unknown and like the Sing Sing tier.
Sure. I thought that this movie was solid. I would say that I really enjoyed the first maybe hour and a half, kind of up until the point that you officially learn that the father has died.
Death certificate moment?
Before that, well, I'm saying like when the friend comes and tells them
that
he's dead, that Rubens has died.
Yeah.
I was very much engaged by the drama of it all, the scene where they come and take him, and then when they come and take the wife and the daughter. Like, I was all in on all that. I thought that the interrogation's super interesting, and I thought that just, like, the mystery of it all, very engaged. Like you said, it is a really interesting subject matter and, like, an important one historically. Mm-hmm. Then we got to the final third of the movie, and it just felt very stagnant to me.
Yeah.
And it was basically just like her and the family trying to get their closure, but it just didn't really land that deeply with me. It wasn't that emotionally resonant, and some of it felt like you could have skipped to like some of the key moments, which then they do going forward in the future with going to the death certificate moment, and then with going to like the new government opening up like more of an investigation. But even those just didn't land that hard with me. And the time directly before that, where they're just like going through like their move and stuff, I just felt like we were sort of just like swimming in place for a bit at the end of the movie. So it slowed down the momentum for me.
I would say I don't know. Talking about it, that's just not the part of the movie that I remember as much, and so maybe it just has like a fonder like place in my mind because that's not what I identify with it. I do agree. Second time skip specifically, I was like, okay,
yeah,
like
I kind of couldn't believe it.
I was like, because like I've said, first 2/3. I'm comfortable labeling that incredible. But then we take all that momentum, and the second time skip especially, I was just like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
This is like 15 minutes where I'm just like, damn, she's old, and the government's, finally taking responsibility, and these like everything has these big ripple effects and all this shit, but like. Yeah, I would say it's at its strongest when we're in the house, on the beach, exploring the dynamics of the family and how the government's violence towards civilians affected this family individually. That's where its strengths lie, not so much in, neatly wrapping up the story.
I did think it was a very good performance by Fernanda Torres. I thought that she was really good. And you know that it's her mom at the end on the second time skip? 95-year-old mother. Because I was like, that woman really looks like her.
Good
like, this is incredible makeup, I thought. Because I was like, that has to be her. It was her mom.
Yeah, no, I didn't know
great
that.
casting there.
That's really cool. Yeah, and so comfortable putting it between Complete Unknown and Sing Sing tier for me.
That's a fair placement. I would say that I probably enjoyed A Complete Unknown a little bit more, but it would be in that tier for me.
Okay.
How about Wicked? Adapted to the screen from the stage.
I will say, okay, because I feel like the way if we have just talked about Complete Unknown as like very good, very fun, and then I put Wicked on the Complete Unknown tier, it's not going to communicate how pleasantly surprised I was by Wicked. I went into Wicked and I don't know, maybe it's just the classic boy in me being like, dresses, princesses.
Gross!
Who cares about any of this stupid shit, man?
I don't want to hear him sing. I want to see him fight.
Exactly. But I had a wonderful time. In terms of just enjoyment, I just like, I had an incredible time. I thought the lead was incredible. I thought Ariana Grande was way stronger than I thought she was going to be in all of the promotional material. She was a very pleasant surprise. And then all of like, I don't know, when we talk about Emilia Perez is like this musical that does a lot of hand wringing about like we're talk singing and we don't want to fully commit to like instruments or these big grand set pieces or anything. Wicked sends it every time, and it works almost all of the time for me. There's not a song that stuck out to me where I was like, this fucking sucks, I'm not having fun right now. I
agree, man. Wicked is a play that I was in as a boy. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and tell you that I wasn't Fiyero when I was maybe 7, maybe 8.
Who'd you play?
I think I played Fiyero, if I remember correctly. Not a lot of male competition for roles in these local theater productions. I did a few when I was a kid, and it was generally about 8 or 9 girls and then your boy.
Hey, hell yeah, brother. That rocks.
I had priority. Rocks. Yeah, so, I have some familiarity with the material.
You're Coleman Domingo in Sing Sing. Who else is reading for Fiyero right now?
I'm sorry, somebody else is reading for Fiyero?
Who else? It's a comedy.
I knew I had the part. No, you know what's really that part for me? Baloo in the Jungle Book. I played Baloo twice in my youth, 2 separate iterations. That was really the part that always called to me. I'm kind of a big deal, Jack. I don't know if you heard.
I like that.
So, the Wicked is just a good old-fashioned good time musical, man. It's original, but The songs fucking rock. The performances were really good. The production design, the sets, all super cool. I agree. Like, there's not a ton to be said about this movie because it's not going to be the deepest, most insightful exploration of whatever themes. But, like, for what it is, I thought that it translated really, really well from the stage to the screen, which oftentimes does not happen with musicals. So I give it a solid thumbs up, man. It was a good time. And, like, some of the songs are just too good, man. You start singing Defying Gravity, I'm going to get some chills. I'm going to get some chills down my little spine. And Cynthia Erivo's got a great voice.
Yes. Oh, my God. Yeah. Just like, and I would like to, when you talk about translating from the stage to the screen, specifically leading the fucking, the play or the movie, going from the stage to the screen, she did not have to be that good, and she was really good the entire time, and so I loved her in it. Shout out to Unadulterated Loathing. I liked that song.
Yeah, great song.
That was a good
great
sequence.
Song. Yeah, the ladies killed it on that one. I mean, just sassing it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, really good stuff.
Where do you want to go next?
Let's talk about the substance. Let's stay with women-led films, Jack.
We're platforming women.
We're platforming women. It's what we do, and it's what we've always done
here.
As Logan and I were just discussing last week, this is a show that first and foremost is about women's health.
Okay.
And awareness.
Nice. Well,
so this is a movie that very much deals with women's appearances and women's bodies in a certain way.
Yeah.
I believe I recommended this to you way back when in kind of early 2024.
You told me.
What did you think?
I had a great time. I haven't really thought about it that much in the context of all these other movies because it's so different, and it's not trying to be any of these other movies where it's like, if whoever directed A Complete Unknown, they would have been very happy hitting all of the emotional beats that like Nickel Boys hit or something, like getting us to those emotional moments. That's not Substance. From the moment they started planning the movie, completely different angle, and so it stands out amongst this crowd as like an achievement in a lot of different kinds of movies that don't get recognized by the Academy historically, especially like horror, but namely like this body horror, final third act, blood everywhere. And so
praying and praying, baby.
Yeah. In terms of fun, I probably had a little more fun than Wicked with this. Like it was sick to just be able to go in
pitting women against each other. Classic JokicJoestar.
Oh my God. What'd you think? What'd you think about it then? We could just let them be. We don't have to rank them.
I liked it a lot. No, I think that we should rank them at the end. I liked this movie a lot. I thought that it was very exciting to see a horror movie represented, because it's kind of unbelievable some of the horror movies that have been snubbed in recent years. Like Hereditary got like nothing. I mean, we did a whole podcast talking about that movie on your pod. Toni Collette didn't get a Best Actress nomination when I feel like that's like one of the best lead performances I've ever seen. So like, it's a genre that has historically been very, very snubbed. So instead, we can go see our 50th music biopic that fucking sucks.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was really good. I thought that the theme was very interesting. The whole conceit of it, like I was gripped from the idea, just this like sort of mysterious substance. I loved the whole competition between the different identities, the different forms of her. I thought the performances were phenomenal by both Demi Moore and
what's her name?
She was so good that she got snubbed. Margaret Qualley was unbelievable, just fucking dynamic in this movie, just a star with a gravitational pull every time that she was on screen. And I thought that it was honestly at its best for me when you were in like the suspenseful stage and like Demi Moore's body sort of starts to fall apart and you have like the push and pull between the two of them. Like that was probably when I enjoyed it the most, when I was most intrigued. And then, shit goes off the rails, and like I still think that it's fun at that point. And I think that it's a good way to end it and put a bow on things. This is a strong movie. I mean, it's not my absolute favorite of the year, but it's in the upper half for me of the nominees.
I would say some of the things that stuck out to me, I do remember leaving the theater and so like it's hammy. It's 100% all the time. And That's
especially
fine.
the whole thing is
But
fucking Dennis Quaid also. Oh my god, what a performance by him. Speaking of hammy.
That's what I was gonna say. Is specifically in the final third, I could have done without the super imposition of Dennis Quaid cycling back through all of his lines about smile, honey. We hate women. Women have to change their bodies. So she's like spraying blood all over. I was the third or fourth line. I was like, okay, I got it. But I think conceptually, I don't know. This movie, it definitely made me like. This is not a topic I have really thought about all that much. Just like I understand that like women are held to this insane beauty standard, and especially women in this industry. But like the toll that it psychologically takes on somebody to continue to upkeep their appearance to an unnatural extent, and especially how like I don't know. I walked out of this thinking about people who. Especially, I feel like in the mid-2000s, someone would get fucked up plastic surgery, and everyone would just like point and laugh and be like, "You ruined your life. You're so dumb." Like MTV.
Get fucked.
Yeah, exactly.
You're ugly now. You're a monster, an abomination.
I walked out and I was like, "Yeah, that was not that nice." Those human beings back in the day. That's kind of sad.
I mean, that still happens, bro. Especially fucking women in the public sphere. It truly is crazy how brutal people are about the appearance of celebrity women. And like, it's not a theme that is ever really explored, I don't think, like that overtly and directly for the entirety of a movie where like that is what we're talking about in this movie.
Yeah, it seems like it's there's moments in other movies, like any movie that I feel like exists around Hollywood, like that's the subject it deals with, then you'll get like a moment where a girl's like,
"Am I watched?" moment.
I had to cut my face off or something, like just these fucking these moments. But to spend an entire 90, 120, whatever it was, minutes just like really going into all of it is great. And Demi Moore, oh my god, just like getting her at that moment in her life, and the way that like she the moment that she was at in the digestion cycle of show business or whatever, where she was in a very similar spot to Elizabeth Sparkle, so to get her there and to get that performance out of her just made it that much stronger. And so I'm on board with you. I don't know, not my favorite movie of the year, but a lot of strong points, and the kind of movie that I would like to see encouraged more by the Academy.
And a very distinct world, and like a very interesting world where it's like jazzercise is the pinnacle of this seemingly modern society, but like I'm with it. Like it's fun, it's weird, we're using our imaginations.
The New
Dennis
Year's
Quaid
Eve
is coming
broadcast is the biggest thing you could ever be on.
It's the biggest thing. Dennis Quaid is coming in and he's fucking licking his fingers and he's the slimiest pervert you've ever seen, and he was so over the top.
Excuse me, I have to go jack off. And it's like, Jesus Christ.
Excuse me, I have an erection now. That movie, I thought, pretty much rocked. How about very, very different tone? Let's go to The Brutalist. Let's just fucking put this thing in reverse.
Okay. The Brutalist, A Tale of Two Halves. How do you feel? I feel like that's been the opinion.
In what sense? Like people...
Yes. Well, okay, so it's not necessarily how I feel, but like I have seen, like when I look around, people are like, first half triumphant, second half that was stupid, what's going on, all of this other
Interesting.
shit.
No, I don't necessarily feel that way. I don't necessarily feel that there was like a distinct drop off at any point. I thought that this movie tried to do a lot. Obviously, it is a very sprawling 3.5 hour movie with an intermission.
Shout out to the intermission. Shout out to the intermission.
Dude. Honestly, I fucking loved it. I thought it was a great call.
That's what I'm saying.
Big fan of the intermission.
Put more in. Like, we got 4-hour movie. I could do 4 hours if you give me 15 minutes. Yeah.
Give me 3-4 intermissions throughout. Let's just take like a commercial break every 3 or 4 minutes of action.
I gotta check my phone. Attention's different these days.
I got emails. I got to get to. I thought that some of the strong points of this movie were definitely the performances. I mean, I thought that there were a number of strong performances. I think that Adrien Brody is a pretty strong contender for Best Actor, deservedly so. I thought that Felicity Jones was really fucking good once she came in. And I know that Guy Pearce is getting a lot of love. I thought that he was pretty fucking good at what he was meant to portray. But I wonder what people really dislike about the second half, because I feel like that's when a lot of the themes sort of fully come together, right? And you have like the full realization of the abuse of power and the class difference between like Guy Pearce's character and him. And there are moments in the first half where Guy Pearce is kind to him or whatever, gives him opportunities, and then he just turns into a fucking monster who just wants to lord his power over him in every way. And you have like his own descent, Adrien Brody's character Laszlo's descent, which I thought was interesting, in him even bringing his wife down with him for a time because he's so destroyed by this fucking harrowing life that he's lived. And then I liked the end. I liked the end where, you know, they talk about the significance of this whole building that he was using this fucking guy's millions to make, and it's all about the concentration camp that he was kept in. I kind of just summarized the second half of the movie there, but like, I don't know, I liked it.
That was good. No, I really did not have a problem with the second half. That's just like a criticism that I saw levied at it. I thought very, very different second half, where like you head into the intermission.
Brutal watch. Hello.
Brutal.
I
Hey,
still got it.
How about that? How about that mine scene? Brutal, huh?
Oh yeah, that really fucking was.
Yeah.
Brutal.
And so you head into the intermission with this. I don't know if it's like levity or hope or whatever. His fucking wife's
hope his
here.
family's coming.
His wife's here, and then pretty much. Yeah, by like halfway through. So like the final fourth of it, you're just like everything has just been corrupted and bastardized and just completely fallen off the rails. And so
it's an all-time tough watch. It's an all-time tough watch. You put it up there with fucking Requiem for a Dream. You put it up there with some of the darkest.
Yeah.
It can hang.
Yeah, and so Brody, I liked. I thought he was very good, and I think he's what the Academy is probably looking for in a Best Actor, and that's what I'm kind of watching is him. Did you see Timmy's speech the other day?
I did.
I want to be one of the greats.
Inspired by Michael Jordan and Michael Phelps as I am fucking Marlon Brando. Yeah. I thought that was hard. I like that a lot. And then I saw some fucking film nerd being like, are people not disturbed by this? Do they not think that this is a deep reflection of some moral sickness? I'm like, hey, lady. Let the guy chase greatness, huh? A little competition never hurt anyone.
Come on. Everybody wants to win, first of all. Everybody, and it's not necessarily that everybody wants to win an Oscar. It's that anyone who like approaches this art trying to be successful, or really approaches anything trying to be successful, I would say a lot of people would rather be recognized by a society as one of the best to ever do it, as opposed to like finding their own happiness in like a mildly successful career or something. So seemed extremely earnest. I'm full Chalamet.
He's Mamba, bro.
Yeah,
he's got the Mamba mentality. Get with it.
I already was, but like that, I was just like, all right, man, you got it. Whatever. I don't know what to say at this point, but so Brody thought was good. Guy Pearce, I'm really high on. I think like the ceiling or the highs that he hits in this film, just in terms of like fucking snake, just just like I don't know, the ability to like kind of ease into the relationship that they have. I think where they like share a drink at the dinner party, one of the strongest scenes of the year. Like I like where
the fucking moment where he flips the coin over.
Yeah.
And then he's like, oh, can you back that up for me? And Laszlo kind of laughs, and he's like, no, I need you to get that back to me.
Please, could you? Come on.
Yeah.
All of it. And like, I feel like that's one of the strongest moments of the movie, one of the strongest moments of the year. And so that at that point, he is very personable, pretty warm by his standards and everything.
Yeah.
And then just like re-examining where he's at by the end of the movie, obviously, like to sexual violence. How did you feel about that? Like, I didn't feel like it was too heavy-handed. I just feel like it's something that like movies get kind of crazy at the end.
Yeah. I tend to agree, and I mean, I think that it does serve a very obvious purpose. Like, you want the ultimate fucking demonstration of, like, this is an evil, hungry, power-hungry guy who is just, like, going to abuse this dude at every possible way.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's it, man. That's, like, the ultimate fucking violation that you can commit, and then, like, it sends Laszlo down this spiral of, like, his entire life has been fucking brutal, man. I mean, obviously the guy had to fucking live through the Holocaust.
We don't see the Holocaust at all.
Yeah.
And so, like, you just factor that in to the beginning. You're just like, oh, man, everything else.
Exactly. That's the fucking background for everything that we do see. Like, that's the story they were trying to tell, man. It's a fucking harrowing story, and that's a harrowing, terrible moment, but I didn't have a problem with it being included. And then I think the scene when Felicity Jones goes and confronts him at the dinner table is, like, a very good scene. I thought that was a powerful scene. Also, the son is such a snivelly little bitch. Yes. I fucking hate that guy, but that actor nailed it.
Yeah. That's Taylor Swift's ex. I can't remember his name.
Yeah,
they
that's right.
dated.
My girlfriend
they dated.
told me that. Yeah.
So, yeah, shout out to him. I think the things, non-performance-wise, that stand out to me here, I'm willing to shout out the direction here, even though I know the press tour Bradley Corbet, is that how you say it? The press tour, press tour he went on was, like, kind of pompous, kind of like
or Brady Corbet, I think.
Brady, that's what it is. I guess his press tour was like a little airheaded or like taking himself too seriously or something. I don't remember, but a lot of people had a problem with it. And then also, like, controversial use of AI in this movie that, like, you don't love in terms of, like, the context of, like, themes about art and everything. How did you feel about it?
So this is something that I've talked about a lot with my girlfriend, which I do think is interesting. We don't know exactly how much they used AI, right? Because what is undisputed is that they used it to, like, brush up their Hungarian, basically to make their Hungarian sound more authentic. And then there was an allegation that they used generative AI to create, like, some of the blueprints at the end when you're going through, like, all of his works of architecture. To me, those are two very different things. If you are using generative AI to produce art in a movie about an artist, just fucking give up on the whole thing and, like, let's just call it quits with this movie. If you're using AI to make a language sound more believable, like this is the second language in a performance, I'm kind of okay with it, just because, like, you know me, man, I like languages. I don't speak Hungarian. I still feel like I can tell what trash Hungarian sounds like and what good Hungarian sounds like. You know, like, probably not to a T, but just, like, generally, I think it's a valuable thing when it is believable that a person is speaking their native language. Like we just talked about with Selena Gomez, what a fucking disaster it is when you're, like, totally removed from this world, because it is impossible to believe her character's story just because of how poorly she speaks the language. So, like, in that use, I'm okay with it. The other use, I'm definitely not okay with it. What did you think?
Yeah, I don't know. So
I mean, I'm generally anti-AI, but, you know, I just have a thing with fucking languages, man. Like,
I feel like it's
I always want movies to be in the languages they should be in. Like, I would rather sit and watch Chernobyl, which I'm watching right now, entirely in Russian than watch these fucking Brits, because I'm like, hey, guys, we're in Russia or we're in Ukraine.
Why is this Cockney
you don't
motherfucker breaking down graphite rods to me? That's not important.
Mind if we have a cuppa? No. No.
Yeah. So language-wise, how do you feel about the... I don't even know, because, like, the big counter to that is, like, they should have just cast a Hungarian actor in it, and I also think that's fair. I just, like, I am so removed from, like, I don't know, show business or whatever. I don't know.
No, I'm a member of SAG, so I can lend some insight on that.
Is it just that easy to, like, track down a Hungarian actor on the caliber of, like, Adrian Brody or whatever?
Well, I mean, this was a huge criticism of Emilia Perez, that you have a non-Spanish speaker in Selena Gomez. You have a Dominican Spanish speaker in Zoe Saldana, who doesn't speak it as a first language, like speaks Spanish relatively well. And then you have Carla Sofia Gascon, who is a Spanish speaker.
Mm-hmm.
And they're all supposed to be Mexican.
Yeah.
Like, they should have casted Mexican actors.
Just throw it on the pile. Throw it on the pile.
I can see that
Perez.
argument. I can totally see that argument. I guess it's just, like, things have never really been done that way.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of the reality of it. If you want Adrian Brody in a movie, I think you're probably going to just get Adrian Brody for that movie if you can.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I think so. Yeah. I mean, I don't love any like AI usage. The way that the language thing was explained and what I read about it was that it was really like a person using technology. So like it's not like somebody lost a job in doing it. It was like someone who like used the technology to like brush up very specific like consonants in like a few scenes. The generative AI stuff is a wash. And then I don't know if somebody has that point about the Hungarian actor, it's a valid criticism to me.
Yeah.
But
I don't think the language stuff, if you are going to have Adrian Brody and Felicity Jones playing the roles, like, that can't really be replicated without AI. Like, you can't just enhance a language like that. Like, that's a very unique tool that I think you're either going to use in that capacity with AI, or you're just not going to do it and you're going to settle for Hungarian that isn't as good.
Yeah. I also read something that was like, it was almost like the studio preferred for the technology to be labeled AI when the actual process was traditionally not what we really associate with the phrase in our brains. I don't know. I'm not a fucking expert on it. And this is just like, this, besides the, Emilia Perez tweets thing, this has been like the scandal of the season or whatever. And so I just felt like it was important to bring up. But as far as the Brutalist, I still overall, I enjoyed it. I thought it was like, I went in and expecting like this big epic of a movie, and I felt like it delivered on that.
I agree. It's a very comprehensive life story, and it's a powerful movie. It's not my absolute favorite of the year, but it's another one that is in the top half of the nominees.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Does that just leave us Dune 2?
We got 2 left.
Oh,
well, let's not sleep
hey,
on Conclave, my friend.
Oh,
another one of my favorites of the year.
I can't believe I forgot that. I got to rewatch Conclave, dude. Holy
so
shit.
Good.
What a fucking movie, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, this, I don't know. It feels like a classic kind of Oscar nomination where it's just like top to bottom, incredible cast giving incredible performances from a story, a screenplay that's like pretty critically acclaimed with like a lot of interesting twists and turns, and at every level of production, from like the score to the costumes to the sets to the people, everything involved. I mean, I don't think it got quite as much love as I would have liked to have seen at the Oscars, even though it got like Best Actor nom, Supporting Actress nom, all these things. I loved it. What'd you think about it?
Supporting Actress nom is one of the craziest that this movie could have gotten. Like, no hate to her, no hate to Sister Agnes. She didn't do shit in this movie, bro. She's in it for like 3 minutes and is
She's going
pretty
for the
unremarkable.
Anthony Hopkins shortest like time on screen to get the award type thing.
Yeah, that to me is kind of a funny nomination to come out of an awesome fucking movie. I mean, Ralph Fiennes is just A+. I love Ralph Fiennes, and I thought that he was phenomenal in this, and all of the performances, dude. It's a great cast. Stanley Tucci, John Lithgow. Like,
all the other guys too. I can't remember the African cardinal or the vaping Italian cardinal. Benitez and Adeyemi, I think, are their characters' names.
Benitez is the guy who ends up becoming the big boss.
Oh shit!
The papa.
Intersex Pope. Intersex.
What was the other
Pope.
guy? The other guy was like, he was like Goffredo something, I want to say.
Yeah.
Goffredo, come
the guy who vaped, and they were like, yeah, that's the fascist Pope, and they're like, well, we can't let that guy be Pope. Oh man.
Yeah, he was really good. He was dynamic.
Like, cross section of pure fun that you get from something like Wicked, and incredible quality that you get from something like Nickel Boys, I thought Conclave was an incredible balance of both, where you want to talk about the fucking scene where he cuts the rope to get into the Pope's room and the fucking headboard, like there's just so many moments where you're on the edge of your seat being like, what? I'm so invested in Catholicism right now. What's gonna happen?
And it's fucking tight, dude. This movie has no fat to trim. It moves the entire time. And it's just like such an interesting exploration of the inner workings of like one of the most secretive processes in the world. Like all of these cardinals coming together and choosing who's going to be the next pope. This is something none of us will ever see.
What do you mean? Yeah.
And it's so cool. And like, I'm such a sucker for like those sort of like almost ancient processes and aesthetics, and they're all in their fucking robes, and the entire voting process, like another world that just immersed you, man. And I loved the dialogue. I loved how every character was written. I loved the tension. I loved how we just progressed from like disqualifying one candidate to disqualifying the next candidate, and like they all have their problems, and then Benitez fucking rises up out of it all as just this virtuous individual.
Yeah. I loved how fast the ball got rolling on, because I don't know, like fucking doe-eyed moron or whatever. The voting gets going, and everyone's like, let's have an honorable conclave. Yes, peaceful, nice conclave. And then the second the first vote goes wrong, Stanley Tucci's in the hallway being like, why the fuck do you want to be pope so bad, buddy? What are you trying to backstab me? And it's like, oh shit, like that's the kind of thing that we're getting into. And then the bringing in the nun that the guy secretly had a child, like just wild. It's conspiracy to a degree that's like in spy movies and shit. It's crazy.
And I'm also always a fan of any sort of like depiction of corruption in the church, or like just Spotlight? The impurity of it all. I actually haven't seen Spotlight, believe it or not. Yeah, I know. Blind spot in my resume.
Hey, shout out to, if you like the corruption in the church, that's like the defining movie to it for me.
Yeah, I gotta check it out. But what I like about this is it's not like to that scale, right? It's not a bunch of horrifying stuff. It's just like, these are people who are supposed to be the most virtuous in the world, basically, and here they are fucking undercutting each other and backstabbing each other, and they keep on saying, like, the Pope should be the one who doesn't want it, and Stanley Tucci's like, yes, I begrudgingly admit that is why I make sense as the best candidate, because I'm so humble and I don't want it. And then the second he feels threatened, he's like, what the fuck's wrong with you?
You want it?
Why are you coming for my throne?
Yeah.
And the whole time, you're, like, sort of watching everything from Ray Fiennes' perspective, and you're like, oh, he doesn't want it. He's just facilitating this whole thing. He's being very honorable. And then you like start to even question. You feel like he starts to question, like, does he want it?
Yeah.
Do I want it? Awesome movie. Movie.
Yeah.
Fuck, man.
Just one you walk out of, and you're like, damn, that just such a well-made good time. And so, yeah, I'm happy to see it here. Shout out to the entire cast. Shout out to the costuming. I mean, all the shit that you said. Just such an interesting look into just like I don't know. It's like a process that if we never got a movie about it, it would never occur to me that it deserves to have a movie made. But obviously, in hindsight, it's like, damn, this is like one of the tensest fucking. They're all locked in a room together until we figure it out. Yeah, that's an incredible setting for a movie. So yeah. I loved it.
And I loved how, like, we were sequestered in the space with them all. You know, we don't see anything outside of the fucking Vatican. And, like, our only insights into the outside world are, like, the fucking, you know, like, the bombing and stuff.
Yeah, Like,
very, very compelling movie.
When Benitez, like, shows up right at they close the doors, and it's like, we're sealed.
Yeah.
And then Benitez is outside, and you're like, okay, close the doors. Come on, let's go.
Yeah.
Like, we can't be letting shit in right now. Yeah, it just immediately puts you into their shoes. And yeah.
I also fuck with this Pope. This Pope has a lot of love in his heart. I mean, he died. I'm not talking about Benitez. I'm talking about the fictional Pope before him. But bro was looking out for Benitez, and I rock with him.
Damn, when you said he died, the active Pope right now
was
hospitalized a few
not Pope
days
Francis.
ago.
I know.
And I was like, yo, Conclave IRL. That's kind of a
Life
crazy Oscar
imitates
run.
art.
Yeah.
We're an hour and a half deep. Let's get to the fucking granddaddy of them all. Let's talk about Dune 2, baby. The cinema event of the year. The biggest cinema event in a while, because Barbenheimer doesn't count because they tag teamed and they amplified each other. And on their own, neither one compared to what we had with Dune this year, the scale of it all, the moment that it was. What'd you think, man?
It felt special when you watched it. It felt like something that
no glaze.
No glaze. But like it felt like something that, like, if someone asks me, hey, what's the most impressive thing you've ever seen in a movie theater, it would be on the short list for sure.
Yeah.
There's like other, like Interstellar or something comes to mind, but like it's up there with everything in terms of epic scale, in terms of, small scale, micro character transformations, watching this guy become like Space Hitler, essentially, given what the next few books end up doing. And so, I thought it was roles or performances great. I thought it was directed great. I thought the set pieces, the design, the sound design. Yeah. If we want to talk about just like immersion, this is like the immersive film experience that I've had in a theater in some time.
It's just like a home run in every way, which I did not think that Dune, the original, was. Like, I thought that was a good movie, but the plot just isn't as enthralling. Paul's character arc is certainly not nearly as interesting, and just everything felt bigger in Dune 2. Everything felt more important. The performances I thought were even better. I mean, Javier Bardem is so good in this movie.
We literally
Stilgar, GOAT.
Already new cultural lexicon, almost like Lisan Al Gaib. Yeah, that's like a thing that people say now. Still,
100%. And yeah, man, it's just an impactful movie. Like, you think about the fact that fucking Paul has so many different names. Muad'Dib, Mahdi, he could be the Kwisatz Haderach, fucking Lisan Al Gaib, and like, we know every one of them. I'm just some layman. I haven't read the Dune books. I'm not some like science fiction nerd. Like, that's motion right there. That's what this movie has. It's absolutely beautiful. It is stunning, just like how grand it all feels. The production design, I mean, just like the worlds that are built here. You go to the fucking Harkonnen planet. That's one of the coolest scenes in a movie in forever, when they're in the fucking Colosseum.
Yeah, if we want to talk about like scale, I don't know, because to me, I walked into the theater for Dune 2, and I'm like, nice, I'm going on a trip to this other planet. Like, I'm getting a look into all of these things. And then we go to the Harkonnens planet, and it was like I was doing it all. I was within that universe. I was having the same experience going to this fucking place where there's no color, and it's like this hyper militaristic fucking fascist parades every day, throwing gladiator shit. Oh my god. Just one of the most, like, I don't know, classic hype reactions I had in the theater this year was watching like the big shot of like the triangle arena as he walks out into the black sun.
That entire scene was electric. And this is like the best big budget science fiction like sequel or part of a series period that I've ever seen. Like, I think that oftentimes those movies have something of a ceiling, and they can be formulaic, and they can feel like overly similar to one another. And I think there's something great about kind of how self-serious Denis is as a director, I feel like, in portraying this movie, because we are not subjected to fucking quips. We are not subjected to characters being written the same. The moments they do go for comedy are genuinely really fucking funny, but they're few and far between. Like, this is a movie that takes itself seriously, and I think that that's really a good thing, because that is something that is missing in a lot of big budget movies that are supposed to feel this big. You end up feeling like, okay, I'm just in some fucking variation of a Marvel movie. And this movie couldn't be further from that. It's distinct. The direction is great. I loved it. I really, really was fucking in awe of it, honestly.
Yeah. And I knew, it gets dropped January of last year, like
super early, maybe February.
yeah, and so I knew it happens, and it's like this is this is a movie that deserves everything at the awards. This deserves the fucking sweep. But you look at the release date, and it's like, that's not gonna work. Like people
so
are
stupid
just,
that's such a factor. Recency bias, man. There's not much of a clearer demonstration of that than literally if your movie comes out in December, it has a way better chance than if your movie comes out in February.
Yeah, and so with that in mind, I my hopes aren't high for anything, and I understand why it's not here that much, but I definitely feel like if you ask me about 2024, 25 in 10 years, like what's the movie I remember from probably Dune 2.
Yeah, I agree, and that's where I looked in some different directions for my best picture choice, and I was like, there are some more indie movies, some more underappreciated movies that I really, really enjoyed, that really impacted me in one way or another, but this is the movie of the year. And I'm not saying that as some generalist, this is the movie that had the largest impact overall. This is the movie that stood out the most to me.
Yeah, I really don't think that's a crazy take.
Yeah,
I and if you had told anybody that in March of last year, it would have been yeah, that makes sense. Like it's just so rare that we see a movie hit so high on every single front. I mean, there's just so many, like the opening scene where they fucking whoop, 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 and then they start to fly upwards in this crazy orange sun. Oh my god, it was incredible. And so yeah, I'm totally fine if somebody has it number one. It's a triumph, and I love that Denny has gotten to flex his sci-fi muscles the way that he has. He's just nobody has the sauce in these specific categories like he does.
Nah. Nobody's got it like him visually, and the visuals in this movie are fucking absurd, which to me is normally not the most important part of a movie. Generally speaking, I feel like there are definitely people who have more of an appreciation for the cinematography stuff.
If a movie looks bad, it's tough for me to love it.
See, I don't necessarily feel that way, and I don't normally feel the way on the opposite side of the spectrum where a lot of people, speaking of Denis, are fucking blown away by Blade Runner 2049, and I'm like, that movie looks great, but I just wasn't really riveted by it. This movie to me blended those two aspects in a way that is very, very rare. I do think it's my best picture. I loved Conclave. I loved Anora. The Brutalist was really good. Nickel Boys was really good. The Substance was really good. None of them quite compare to this movie to me.
And visual, I would just say visual. We can get to the awards, but to do this with a desert planet, that's what's incredible. So crazy to me is because I do think some of the criticisms about Wicked and the weird color grading and the way that things looked in a world that is based on The Wizard of Oz, which is one of the most vibrantly colorful movies ever made. So comparing this, which is a world of brown and dirt and sand and dust, and the way that it is just crafted to look so beautiful at every moment. It's a real testament to how good Danny is. You want to do Best Picture first?
Yeah. Let's go through. I mean, do we want to rank them 1 to 10, or do we just want to give our picks? Because we've talked about them all now. I think the people know how we generally feel. I'm going with Dune 2.
Okay. My pick is Nickel Boys, but
it's a good pick.
I think The Brutalist will win.
I agree that The Brutalist will win, and I can't hate on it. It's also just the most obvious sort of Best Picture winning movie.
I mean, I saw the trailer and I was like, oh, they're going for Best Picture.
100%. I don't know that something like Dune 2 can win.
Oh, no.
Just because I feel like there's that sort of anti-big budget sci-fi stigma, but I'll be damned, man. If it's the best movie of the year, it's the best movie of the year, and I honestly think that it was this year. But my runner-up would be Anora. That was my second favorite. My third favorite would be Conclave. Then I would go Nickel Boys for Brutalist 5, Substance 6. Those to me are the strongest of the year.
So I haven't ranked them at all. So I would probably go just of the nominees. So I'm not going to touch on Sing Sing here.
Yeah, Sing Sing would be top 3 for me.
I would probably go Nickel Boys, Dune Part 2, The Brutalist. I would... Fuck. Nickel Boys, Dune Part 2, The Brutalist.
Any left for Conclave?
Conclave, I would put it 4. Probably Complete Unknown at 5. And then... I guess I'll go I'm Still Here at 6. But I mean, again, like, Anora I recognize... It's just not for me personally.
Yeah, you're a hater. It's fine.
Hey, no, I hate sex workers specifically. It's the problem.
Yeah,
so
you hate sex workers.
It's important to bring that up.
And you hate women generally.
Yeah, so like when the goons, when it was Yuri, I was like, yeah.
Get her, bag her.
when they punched her in the face, I was like, yeah. That's the best part
beat
of
that poor bitch. Yeah.
Yeah.
Put her in her place.
That is what like half of the discourse online around as looking around being like, did anyone else not like it? Like the arguments that people get into about the subject matter are crazy. So yeah.
Interesting. I feel like I'm removed from a lot of the film discourse online, and I'm probably grateful for that, because if it's anything like fucking sports discourse,
it's worse.
I'd rather
it's
just
worse.
not have.
I feel like you can get
plate.
So much closer to objectivity with sports discourse.
You know, you can, and still people miss the mark completely.
Yeah,
but
so
that's true. I mean, film discourse is completely subjective.
Yeah. So like I can't show you like true shooting percentage for Anora or something.
No, that's
like,
true.
Like
that's true, I guess. You know, you can win a sports debate, but then sometimes the dumb people are still getting a fucking 100,000 likes.
Yeah. Hey, shout out. I'll name drop him after the pod.
Oh, I thought you were gonna give a name drop there. I was excited.
We don't have to be a dick online.
No, I guess you're right. I guess
you want to do. Where do you want to go after Best
Let's
Picture?
go to the big ones. I mean, let's go Best Actor. We've got Adrian Brody for The Brutalist. We've got Timmy for A Complete Unknown. We've got Coleman Domingo for Sing Sing. We've got Ray Fiennes for Conclave. And we've got Sebastian Stan for The Apprentice. So 2 movies here represented that were not in the Best Picture.
Apprentice. Damn.
Yeah.
Did you see it?
I did see it.
I thought
it was a very good performance. Dare I say, I could have gone for a little bit more of a Trumpy performance. Is that so bad of me to say? Yeah, he definitely developed. He definitely grew more and more into it. But it's like, you go back and you watch Trump interviews from that time, and like,
he's been that guy the whole time.
So there was a period where I was like, it's just such a distinct individual. He has such a distinct way of speaking and being. Like, when he wasn't fully that guy, I was just like, I mean, I know that you are that guy. Like, it seems caricature-ish, but you are a fucking caricature, and you have been for a long time. But you're right. He did get there by the end, and I'm sure that was a deliberate choice.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, in the he's like, Ivana, get in the car. And it's like, that's not really him. But, like, I don't know. To use the persona in the gradient of becoming, like, full-on, you know, evil, power-hungry guy or whatever, completely corrupted. I'm fine with that. It's like a creative choice. So best lead actor, I think Adrian Brody will win, but I would pick Timothée Chalamet. What do you think?
Wow. You loved him as Bobby Dylan.
I did. I didn't think it was that gimmicky. I thought the voice, I thought all of it was really impressive, and I thought he communicated a lot. Like, when I go back to the conflict of the movie and this internal, like, decision between going out on his own versus staying with, like, the group of the 60s or whatever, going electric. It's not like they talk about it all that much in the movie. You know, Ed Norton, he gives him some lectures or whatever, and he's like, shut up, man. But for the most part, I felt like it was like a lot of, I don't know, subtler stuff that he was doing that was communicating that to me. Who would you pick, and who do you think is going to win?
I think Adrian Brody will win. There was a time when I thought, I'll go Ray Fiennes here, because he's just fucking locked in. It's not the biggest performance, but when he has his moments when he does get emotional, he fucking nails it. I agree, though. And especially with that character, just an understated, humble guy. But I feel like you're very much aware of like the inner workings of his mind the whole time without him having to say a ton outright. And just like fucking classy cardinal, man. Sort of guy who I do want being my cardinal if I'm in the church. Adrian Brody, I think that he does the most because he has such a fucking range to cover, and obviously he's doing an accent too if you want to give him props for that, and it's a solid accent to my untrained ear. I think I'm going with Coleman Domingo, though.
I'm fine with it.
Thought that he was phenomenal. Some characters just totally feel like a real living, breathing person in all of their complexities and like their little idiosyncrasies. And that's how I felt about him. I felt that he was very distinct. I felt that he also had to cover some ground, right? He has sort of his big blow up scene, which wasn't like my absolute favorite of his acting. I kind of liked it more when he was just being this guy himself. But
no, yeah. Damn.
I really, really liked it. And I thought that he did a lot to carry the movie. Another guy who you feel like you know what he's thinking at all times. And I appreciate that.
The more I think about Coleman, the closer I don't want to pivot. I don't want to capitulate.
Well, but you have the freedom to.
Fuck it. I'll throw Domingo. I guess I would pick Domingo. It's for him. Oh my God, it's such a good performance. I do feel like I agree with you. The explosions aren't even the strong points. To me, the strong points are so he's like this projection of a composed, put together. I was somebody on the outside kind of prisoner. Right. Who is like the hotshot in their group, and I think the strongest moments are the theme of vulnerability in the movie. Him being vulnerable about like, what if I'm not like automatically the most talented dramatic actor in this group, and then even extending that, what if I fucking spend the rest of my life in prison? Like, does any of this even matter? All of this other shit. I thought he was incredible in it, and I thought he kept the movie in a place where Clarence Macklin could come in and explode onto the scene in a way that made his performance so memorable. Very like symbiotic, those two.
Yeah, totally. I mean, they're very, very complementary. I think there's a great contrast between the two of them, and I just loved the entirety of this performance. Like, I feel like he plays like genuinely helpful just as well as he plays like jealous but trying to cover it up, just as well as he plays like having a full-on existential crisis outwardly or inwardly and trying to hold that in. Like, character goes through a lot, and I think that he really, really balanced all of those different emotional notes very, very well. And I fucking loved this movie, and it deserves to be acknowledged.
Damn, I'm glad you watched it. I am very glad you watched it.
So am I, dude, because holy shit.
Like, I just watched it for the nomination. Like, I was like, oh, he's Best Actor nom. And it was between that or Emilia Perez. So I was like, I know who I'll give the fucking my time to first. And you come out on the other side. Genuinely, if someone is listening to this and they haven't watched it, you come out on the other side really re-examining a lot of the nominations. So it's like, this movie was better than a lot of these other ones.
100%. I mean, it should have been a no-brainer for Best Picture. We get 10 nominees and we can't get it in there. And like, I don't even know what the counterpoint is. I don't even know what the criticism of this movie
what's
is.
Crazy is so I think a lot of it boils down to A24 does like a lot of stupid rollout shit. And they started with Sing Sing rolling it out, and I was listening to some podcast that was talking about how they wanted to approach it how Coda won the Best Picture a few years ago, which was a very understated release that got super popular the longer it was on like video on demand or whatever. And so they get like, they half-ass that kind of, and then the Brutalist falls onto their plate and all of their resources immediately go to pushing that every single direction. And Sing Sing really, suffered as a result of that, is what I got from it.
That makes sense. And that's a bummer because this movie deserved to be spotlighted. And I mean, we already talked about Clarence Macklin's performance, but I also thought the guy who played like the director of the program, I thought he was really, really good. Everybody, dude, fucking Big E, who I think was a guy who was really in the program in prison. I think I saw. It's such a good movie. And then when they started showing the real footage of the program, Got me, man.
Bro.
Really got to me.
Big
really
year for archival footage between this and Nickel Boys as well. They were spamming that shit in there.
Yeah, Nickel Boys had a lot. Nickel Boys, very, very interestingly directed movie. Okay, how about Best Actress? We have Cynthia Erivo for Wicked. We have Carla Sofia Gascon for Emilia Perez. We have Mikey Madison for Anora. We have Demi Moore for The Substance. And we have Fernanda Torres for I'm Still Here.
Who I think will win? Mikey Madison for Anora.
Ooh.
Who I would pick to win. Mikey Madison for Anora.
Yeah,
I know.
Thank you.
Yeah. When you look at the rest of the field, I really don't even I don't, as a guy who didn't click with Anora that much, I don't hesitate on this award all that much at all. Like what she does in the movie, there was never a moment where I was like, damn, she's not like a force of nature.
Agreed, man. Well said. To me, this is like basically a 2-horse race between Demi Moore and Mikey Madison. It's clearly Mikey Madison to me. I kind of think Demi Moore gets it as sort of like a lifetime achievement.
Yeah,
hey,
that's
the you're
angle,
back on top kind of thing. Like that shit factors into these decisions so much. But Mikey Madison, as clear a winner as there is, to me, is just a fucking show-stealing performance. Okay. How about supporting actor? We've got Yura Borisov for Anora. We've got Kieran Culkin for A Real Pain. Big Ed Norton for A Complete Unknown. Guy Pearce for The Brutalist. And Jeremy Strong for The Apprentice. Who do you like here?
I think Kieran Culkin will win.
Yes.
I would pick Jeremy Strong to win, but if I could, if Clarence Macklin was here, he would be my pick. Yeah, but
yeah, that's a good take.
Of them, I think Jeremy Strong is who I would pick.
Jeremy Strong is unbelievable in The Apprentice. Like, I've never seen Roy Cohn speak, but I went up after and I just like looked up pictures of him. It's just
probably
like, holy
the same,
shit, dude.
Right?
The fucking look in his eye, like throughout this entire movie, Jeremy Strong has like such an intense look in his eye, and just like his posture, the angle that his head is at is super weird. And like you go and you look at a picture of Roy Cohn and it's identical. Jeremy Strong is one of the best we've got, man. I mean, I know that he gets made fun of for being such a self-serious method character actor, but god damn, the results are good. I think he wipes the floor with Kieran Culkin if we're doing a succession comparison here.
I think Culkin in his own right does a good job in a vacuum. I really enjoyed A Real Pain. But yeah, it's like 2011 Derrick Rose versus like, you know, prime peak LeBron or something. It's just like these two different of like this guy's doing good in the things he is good at. This is one of the best we've ever seen do something.
It's a nice performance from Kieran Culkin. In some ways, it's like similar to the Roman thing from Succession, just with the quirkiness and like kind of just his general way of speaking. But it's a very different character, a much kinder-hearted character, which I appreciate. I think
not
it's a
tearing
good character,
up $1 million in front of a child.
Exactly. And I appreciate all that, but like every time Jeremy Strong was on the screen, I was gripped. If he's telling me the fucking 3 rules to life, the 3 rules to winning, I'm writing them down. If he's dying from AIDS and asking for help, if he's fucking chewing Donald out the entire time, I'm just like, give me more Jeremy Strong. He's so compelling on screen. So yeah, I agree. I think Kieran Culkin wins this, but that bums me out because Jeremy Strong should get this. This is another home run category to me, but really strong, actually. All of these guys are like deserved nominations, and there were more who like I could have gone for, like Clarence Macklin, as we mentioned, Jesse Plemons I shouted out, the guy who played Turner in Nickel Boys. A lot of really good supporting actors this year. A lot of really good supporting actors. Shout out to Yura Borisov too. It's like an understated performance, but a very good one. Very good.
As we talk about like all of these other guys, like Ray Fiennes being good small or whatever. Yeah. The second Borisov was on screen, it was immediately apparent that he was like a guy that was going to be around, and some of that has to do with like shooting or whatever. But like he just came across as like, okay, this goon's different.
Yeah, this goon's this goon's got a heart. Dare I say?
Got feelings. Yeah,
but he was also really funny. Yeah, I really liked Anora. Yeah. Should we go Best Actress in a Supporting Role? We've got Monica Barbaro for A Complete Unknown. We've got Ariana Grande for Wicked. We've got Felicity Jones for The Brutalist. We've got Isabella Rossellini for Conclave. And we've got Zoe Saldana for Emilia Perez. Who do you like here?
I think Zoe Saldana will win, and I would pick Ariana Grande to win.
Yeah. I think that Zoe Saldana is also probably going to win. I think that she's been sweeping like the other award shows. I really like Ariana Grande. I think I'm going to go with Felicity Jones here. It's a very serious, heavy performance, but I think that she kind of nails it. I think that from the moment that she comes in, like, just a very genuine portrayal. And I think that she has her big moment. Like I said, I think that the dinner scene where she calls out Guy Pearce is excellent. I have no problem with Ariana Grande winning because I think that she's super fun, and I think that she nails Glinda. Zoe Saldana, I don't know. Like, she's not the problem with the movie. She's fine. That movie's so fucking bad. Fuck it, man. Throw it out, I say.
Her case is definitely of everything
floor
involved.
Raising? Is it a floor raising case?
No, not even the case for her to win the award. I just mean, like, of everybody involved with the movie, it's like that scene in Pulp Fiction where the guy rolls out of the bathroom and, like, shoots the revolver a bunch. Like, the director and the lead actress, everything around her is getting filled with bullets, and right in the middle, she's just, like, keeping her head down and, like, quietly winning every other award. And so it just feels like if the Academy was like, hey, well, we then 13 noms, we want to throw them one, this is what it would be.
I mean, it's like fucking Denny Avdia on the Wizards last year. You know, doing the right things, playing winning basketball. You're solid, but you're on the fucking Washington Wizards. You're not getting an award for that. Hey. I'm not giving an award to Zoe Saldana for this. How about cinematography? We have The Brutalist. We have Dune 2. We have Emilia Perez. We have Maria, and we have Nosferatu.
I think The Brutalist will win this. I would pick Dune 2 of these nominees, but if I could throw Nickel Boys in, I think I would pick Nickel Boys over Dune 2 for cinematography.
Ooh. This is a pretty easy Dune 2 for me. I mean, it's just a fucking gorgeous, gorgeous movie. A lot of breathtaking shots. So I'm going to go with Dune 2. How about costume design? We have A Complete Unknown. We have Conclave. We have Gladiator 2. We have Nosferatu again. And we have Wicked.
I'll go Nosferatu both here. I think it will win, and I would pick it to win.
So I didn't see Nosferatu.
Have you wait, you didn't see it in theaters, or you haven't seen it at all?
No, I haven't seen it at all.
Okay, now keep going.
Oh, L-Mans. Oh, look at me. What a fucking loser. Is it that good? You enjoyed it that much?
I had a really good time. And I pegged you as more of an Eggers guy. So I just thought, like, you would have, like, been there.
I do like
first
Eggers.
Week or whatever.
You know, I think what happened is my girlfriend went to see it with one of her friends, and then I just never got out to see it.
Okay.
So
yeah, it's worth your time for sure.
Yeah, I believe it. And based on everything that I've heard and just like the pictures that I've seen of the costumes, it does seem like a deserved winner.
Yeah. So that's the one. I feel like that one probably a little underrepresented here. None of the performances are good enough to justify, like, really making noise in any of the big stuff, but it's just made with so much, like, the passion oozes out of it. And so costumes, I feel like, is a good place to reward it.
How about similar vibe, makeup and hair? We've got A Different Man, we've got Emilia Perez, we've got Nosferatu, we've got The Substance, and we've got Wicked.
I'll go The Substance for both here. Again, I do think this. I don't know. Maybe it's a case of, like, they do the most and that's why they win or whatever. But
yeah,
it's like the defining makeup thing of the year, no question. Like the last amalgamation of Eliza Sue or whatever.
Yeah. I think The Substance is my runner-up. I think I'm going with A Different Man here. Did you see A Different Man?
I actually did not. So in my mind, Better Man is the monkey picture. Different Man is who gets surgery.
Exactly. A Different Man is the other Sebastian Stan movie, which I think he was arguably better in than The Apprentice.
That's what I've heard. It's on. I'm gonna watch that and the September 5th movie. We have a few days more before the Oscars drop. So those are the two that I still want to watch.
Yeah. Good call. I mean, maybe I'll see if I can see Nosferatu before the big day. A Different Man was interesting. It was kind of weird. It's sort of like this dark comedy, almost like surrealist at times. Strange movie. It was solid, but I thought the Sebastian Stan was really good in it, and I think the prosthetic that they had on him before he gets the surgery was pretty fucking excellent. So I think I would give it to that over The Substance, which, like, The Substance, they get to be totally absurd and fun with it, but, like, A Different Man, like, you have to believe it, and, like, it's a pretty crazy accomplishment, and in makeup or prosthetic, however the fuck they do that, it was impressive. I was impressed.
I'm down with that.
Yeah, it's worth a watch, I would say. How about director? We've got Sean Baker for Anora. We've got Brady Corbet for The Brutalist. We've got James Mangold for A Complete Unknown. We've got our boy Jacques for Emilia Perez. And then we've got Coralie Farge for The Substance.
Yeah. I think...
Coralie Fartgay?
Coralie Fartgay. Bang!
Still got it.
Stupid movie about girls. So, yeah. That's
triple bang. Mike Breen pulls out his first triple bang for Coralie Fartgay.
I think Brady Corbet will win. I probably would pick Corbet as well, just in terms of like a more traditional, like vast epic saga type thing. I thought he pulled it off well, and I thought he got a lot of good like, to me, the performances and the dynamic between Guy Pearce and Adrian Brody is one of the most important things in the movie, and I think he got a lot out of both of them. And on top of it being just this incredibly beautiful film, which is like, I don't know, to make something this big, that obviously gets rewarded a lot at the Academy. And so, I'd probably go him here.
It's a good shot. I'm going to go with my boy Sean Baker for Anora. Big fan of the movie, big fan of Sean Baker's in general, and I would like to see him get rewarded for this. Achievement in film editing. We have Anora, we have The Brutalist, we have Conclave, we have Emilia Perez, and we have Wicked. Who do you like here?
None of these movies super duper stand out to me compared to Nickel Boys. I do think the editing on Nickel Boys was like otherworldly, like jumping between everybody. I guess I'll go The Brutalist here as well, but I don't feel super strongly about any of these editings. What do you feel like?
Yeah, I think The Brutalist. I would consider Conclave because it's so tight. It's very tight edit.
That's fair.
The Brutalist, I think for being as long as it is, it moves pretty well, and that's an achievement. If we're comparing it to the like super, super long movie of last year, Killers of the Flower Moon, I don't think it moves quite as well as that movie did, but it still moves pretty well, and I thought the title sequence was super fucking cool.
Yeah, that's what stands out to me. The credits.
Credits were sick.
The opening credits scroll over the score and the bus driving. I mean, that's like stuck with me. That's one of the most sticking images of the movie, I feel like, which I don't know. I feel like that's just a testament to how strong those credits are. But I like it a lot.
Speaking of score, we do have The Brutalist, we have Conclave, we have Emilia Perez, we have Wicked, and we have The Wild Robot. What do you like here?
I'll go Brutalist. It should be Challengers. It should. I don't even know if it should.
Brutalist is cleaning up for you, Jack. Brutalist is cleaning up.
I like the Brutalist score a lot. What would you pick?
It's great. The Brutalist, I strongly consider, because I actually think the score is a real strong point of the movie. I kind of feel like if Wicked's here, I'm going to go Wicked, though, bro. I mean, Wicked just has bangers.
That's fair. It's definitely like two... just like pick your poison type things.
I mean, totally different.
Yeah.
Entirely different. Like, the score is like part of the plot and
it's almost
part
like
of the dialogue. It's part of everything. It is a soundtrack.
But I'm fine. If Wicked got it, like I wouldn't be upset at all. I just feel like so when the score swells in The Brutalist, it's like, oh shit, pure cinema type deal.
It is. It's really, really good. We have adapted screenplay. This is a good category with one exception. We have A Complete Unknown, written by James Mangold and Jay Cox.
Okay.
And by the way, that name is not spelled how you think. It's not COX. It's COCKS. Jay Cox.
Man.
That's got to be a hell of a childhood that he had.
Oh, man. Oh, buddy.
We've got Conclave. We've got Emilia Perez. We have Nickel Boys. And we have Sing Sing, who, by the way, it says here, story by Clint Bentley, Greg Quaidar, and then Clarence Macklin and John Divine G. Whitfield.
Hey.
So Divine G and Divine I helped write the movie. Or tell the story, at least. That's pretty sick.
I'm torn between Nickel Boys and Sing Sing here, but fuck it, I'll go Sing Sing. I want Sing Sing. I just slightly more. But both are incredibly strong.
I'm going Sing Sing. I thought the dialogue was fucking awesome. I thought every scene was very purposefully written. Just like such a clean, excellent movie. And I thought that the writing was one of several strong points. Mm-hmm. We have original screenplay. Anora, The Brutalist, A Real Pain, September 5, and The Substance.
I don't know. This one's tricky. I don't think it would win, but The Substance does stand out to me here. It's just like, if we're rewarding like pulling off shit that's very difficult and extremely original, The Substance jumps out to me.
The Substance is really good. I think it's nice to see A Real Pain nominated here. Shout out Jesse Eisenberg. Mm-hmm. Wasn't my absolute favorite movie, but I think the writing, it's a little quirky sometimes, but like I think overall it's pretty good. The characters are written distinctly. Like it was a well-written movie. The Brutalist is definitely well-written. I'm going to go with Anora, and like the tricky part here is like how much credit should I be giving to the actors for their improv? I don't know, but like I just love the dialogue in this movie, and I really like the plot as well. I think it's a great script. I think it's a great screenplay, so I'm going to give it the nod.
Okay.
Achievement in sound. We have A Complete Unknown. We have Dune 2. We have Emilia Perez. We have Wicked, and we have The Wild Robot.
Okay. I got Dune 2 pops up. I got to go Dune 2 at this point.
I agree. I'm going Dune 2 here. Excellent sound. Visual effects. Alien Romulus, Better Man, Dune 2, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, and Wicked.
I'll keep going Dune 2. I don't care. Like if it's nominated, I want it to get rewarded. And visual effects. Worms? Come on, man.
Yeah, visual effects, it's a strong candidate. I mean, shout out to Rob Bob and Alien Romulus, though. Shout out to Spire
IMG
Academy
legend, baby.
Yeah, LaMelo's old teammate Rob Bob. He's found a wonderful career for himself. You know what I'm going to give a shout out here? Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, man. Those movies look sick. Mm-hmm. They always have.
Specifically, an ape drowns, and it looks crazy with the fur. Like the water and the fur, the way they do it, it was really good.
R.I.P., man. I'm a fan of the Planet of the Apes saga, the recent one. This movie, honestly, wasn't that good, but like the trilogy that we got, Rise, Dawn, War... Good movies, underrated in my opinion.
Flicks.
And they look fucking sick.
Yeah.
Last award that I have down here, there are some other ones, but, you know, they're kind of more niche ones. Production design. We have The Brutalist, we have Conclave, we have Dune 2, we have Nosferatu, and we have Wicked.
I would go Nosferatu here. Yeah, I feel pretty comfortable about that. It's just all of the shit that comes out about this movie is like 10,000 candles, a billion live rats running around the set the entire time. He's actively combing through, historical archives to source dialogue and shit. It's the production design in Nosferatu. It's incredible.
This movie sounds freaky as hell in all the right ways. I feel
it
like
is.
Check it out.
It's freaky as shit. Like if you remember that line when you come out of it, you'd be like, "Damn, I was right."
Yeah. All right. Maybe I gotta check it out. I've just seen like one still of Nosferatu and his mouth's really open. And I'm like, okay, that's freaky. I like it. I like it. Yeah, it's freaky. I'm going to go with Dune 2 here, bro. They built Arrakis in the desert, and it looks fucking sick. And every single set that they're on looks fucking incredible. So That feels like a worthy winner to me.
That's a production where everybody involved, if they came out on the other end and they were like, this was fucking hell. This was the worst movie I've ever worked on. It was terrible. It wouldn't surprise me at all. But to make it a production that everybody involved had a lot of fun on, shout out to Denny.
Yeah, well, did they have fun? Do we know if they had fun?
I feel like it'd be a bigger story if they had no fun.
If
Timothy's
Denis pegged as the sort of guy who's got everybody signing NDAs. He's a verbally abusive, classic French director. Real dick.
Real dick.
That's
Where's the
vibe
NYU twink? Get him out here.
I'm here, says Timmy.
I'm Paul. Hi. Oh, man.
Well, there it is, Jack. Another year, another batch of movies. Anything else that you want to discuss, shout out, reflect on before we get out of here?
I don't know. Movies, not really.
Anything else? I mean, it's an open forum.
Well, I didn't get to work the Luka trade in, but we have not talked really since
that
happened.
We were going to do a segment of bigger disaster, the Luka trade or Emilia Perez.
I mean, I'm more frustrated with the Luka trade probably after watching Emilia Perez front to back. It's just it's a classic case of like starting out with fucked up intentions and getting a fucked up result. Where it's like the Nico Harrison, hey, defense wins championships. Just that starting block of it all. It's just you're not going to get anything good when you got guys making decisions like that.
He maybe has only ever heard one adage. Maybe he doesn't know that, they're not perfect absolute truths, and maybe he just literally thinks the defense wins championships, and that's the only way to do it. Yeah. And Luka's not going to cut it on that.
Boston was good at defense, they won. So
Boston was good at defense, they won.
So
defense
we
wins
got to get
championships.
good. So Anthony Davis, get over here. Yeah.
It is unbelievable that happened. It's unbelievable that like tonight we're just going to watch Luka play against the Mavericks for the Los Angeles Lakers.
I could not imagine being a Mavericks fan. I would be like everything everyone's doing in terms of like protesting or whatever.
Totally fair.
Yeah. And the Mavs, they played. Nico Harrison was at the Warriors game. That's what it was. He was at the Warriors game in Golden State. And Mavs fans were like, you can go to away games. That's pretty interesting how you made it out to that one, buddy.
Yeah. It's just unbelievable. And then there were like the clips of Mark Cuban getting mad at the fans, being like, don't boo. It's like, bro, they have every right to do whatever they want.
You shut up, Mark Cuban. Goddamn. Yeah, I don't know. Just spending.
It's a crazy betrayal of the fan base, unlike anything I've ever seen.
Yeah. Okay, well, beyond that, no, I'm cool.
That's how I felt about Emilia Perez. I sat down. I had been told by my Italian teacher that it was going to be a really good movie, a really good time. And then I came back, and I was like, yeah, I couldn't make it through that movie. And she was like, what? And I was like, you call that music? Yeah, well, so that's obviously super offensive. And,
sorry, Carson's Italian teacher. I bet you're a very nice person.
Yeah, and like I said, she's Spanish and French. She's not Italian. She's just got a language bag like that.
Damn. I wish. I mean, me saying Anora, the biggest moron in the world. Just like to live in a place where you just like get to learn French and Spanish, or it's just like more accessible, I guess. That would be, I don't know. Nebraska
but please, please keep doing your bits. Keep doing your bits. Oh, moron.
Hey, we could. Have you seen The Sopranos? We could do it all day.
Of course.
It's anti-Italian discrimination, baby.
Brother, look at this shirt.
Oh, you're frozen. You've been frozen for like 20 minutes.
It's a Sopranos shirt that I'm wearing. It's the Ducks. I've got the Ducks from the Sopranos on my shirt.
Come, the Ducks are back.
Oh, what a great show. What a great show.
Yeah.
You know what's really funny thing?
What?
About Italian-American history, or really about mob history. I think this was in the 70s. There was a guy who formed some sort of like federation for Italian American representation, and he started like suing a bunch of entities, basically being like, you guys just present us all as if we're mobsters and it's unfair, and we have a lot of good hardworking business people and decent Americans, and I'm one of them. And he was basically doing like this entire campaign for Italian American PR, being like, we are not the mob.
Mm-hmm.
And he was literally ahead of one of the 5 families. I think he was the head of the Lucchese crime
That's
family.
so based. Oh my god.
So funny. So
you
funny.
guys have got to stop, please. That rocks. Hell yeah. I'm trying to get my girlfriend. She has not seen any like gangster films at all. And so I'm trying to get her onto that wave, but I don't know what to.
There's some good ones.
Yeah, there's a lot of good ones.
Goodfellas is probably the way in, I feel like.
Yeah. I'd be torn apart if she didn't like it. I don't know what I'd do.
Well, you still would be better off than the average Mav fan right now.
Hey. Yep.
Hey.
Mavs fans.
Get fucked.
Yeah, you guys kind of suck. It's over.
Oh.
It's going to be over for a long time. Max Christie's fake. Anthony
don't
Davis.
take Max Christie from them
season-ending
right now.
surgery.
Oh my
It's
God.
going to drop soon. Kyrie Irving.
Jesus Christ, man. Can you
Scary
imagine
as
if you're a
lead
Mavs
ball
fan and you listen to
initiator.
this pod just to escape into a world of cinema for a little bit, and you just start telling them that everything is only going to get worse from here?
Oh,
You're a monster, man.
That rocks. All right, yeah.
No, that
I'm
didn't
cool.
rock. That was evil, what you just did.
You asked if I had anything on my mind. That's what I
That's
had
true.
on my mind.
That's true. I never should have given you the platform.
Hey, that's what I'm saying.
Everybody, thank you for sitting with us for 2 hours and change as we yammer on about movies. This is not what we normally do, of course, but it is a lot of fun. Jack, you don't really talk about movies a ton, but you do tweet about them. I know you have like a Letterboxd. Do you want people to follow you on Letterboxd?
Yeah. I'm JokicJoestar on Letterboxd. I'm pretty sure.
JokicJoestar, same as anywhere else. People often ask if I have a Letterboxd, and I do, but I never actually post there, which is kind of a bummer. I wish I did.
Last movie I watched, Training Day. That's the last movie I logged. Oh, what a film! Oh my god.
Shout out Denzel, man. One of the greats. One of the greats. Speaking of gangster movies, not a mob movie, but American Gangster is a fucking
I've never seen
tour de
American
force.
Gangster, actually.
You gotta watch it, dude. You know who recommended it to me? Is Riv from Pick a Side. He said you gotta watch this.
That
and I
seems
said
like
to
a
him,
movie
you
he
gotta
would
watch
like.
Good Will Hunting, and then we had an exchange of movies, and it was
That's
beautiful.
so fun.
Yeah, American Gangster is outstanding. Outstanding.
Oh, shit. I'll check it out. Double rec. You and Riv, 2 respected podcasters. I can
2
get behind
geniuses. Let's just be real. 2 of our mind's great generations. Everybody go follow a third of our generation's great minds, that being JokicJoestar, TikTok, Instagram, everywhere. Go listen to the State of the Lead podcast with him and Pablo Escobar. Go check out Project 94 with him and Isaac Gutierrez, which you just started up.
You're all the way
yeah,
up,
man, you get the full plug.
You're caught up.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, how's that been going, by the way?
It's going good. If you see this mic arm, I set it up 30 minutes before we recorded. I had to get it because everyone who listens to Project 94 is expecting a certain level of production and me holding the mic too close to my mouth so that when I say the P in like pistons or whatever, it pops super loud. That upsets people. So yeah, it's going all right.
That's just a crazy contrast. So like when you do State of the League now, are you like going into your closet, like using some $10 mic that you just bought so you can meet Pablo on his level of production quality?
I don't know.
Because I feel like there's a dissonance there.
I haven't recorded State of the League yet with this new mic. Maybe I'll just pop out on him tomorrow. Maybe I'll just be like, oh, hey, broke boy. What's up, man? You fucking holding your mic? Loser.
Yeah. Pablo has a mic? He got a mic?
Yeah. Pablo is indoors with a microphone. We got to have you on again, man.
No, I know. I've actually seen Pablo in his new setup where he's indoors, and I didn't like it as much.
There's definitely a mystical quality to a man driving around recording a podcast.
It's incredible.
It's because it used to be fun. He was too scared. Someone would like be at the park next where he's recording, and he'd be like, "I gotta move. Give me 15 minutes. I gotta go park somewhere else."
That's so funny, and he did it all because he wouldn't tell his parents what he was doing.
Yes, yeah,
so
I believe his parents still don't know. Yeah.
That's so funny.
They think he's a sports journalist to some degree, I guess.
Yeah,
but,
close enough.
Yeah. were online calling
same family.
Bradley
Same
Beal.
family.
Stupid.
I mean, they probably don't think he's doing like mostly content about who could have stopped 9/11 and things of that nature.
Yeah, no, I don't think that's where their mind snaps to when they hear that phrase. But that's the reality of modern sports journalism, ladies and gentlemen.
Gotta find your niche, baby. So go check out Jack and his stuff in all those places. And if you want more Nerd Sesh content, normally, I got my little bald buddy here. He's not here today, but he's with us in our hearts, and we miss him so dearly.
He's dead. Holy shit.
He just doesn't get to talk about movies. Yeah, he is dead. Sadly, he died.
Well, he's culturally dead if he can't talk movies,
He's got some movie takes. He's a big
good?
Cars guy. No, he's not actually a big Cars guy. His favorite movie is Snatch by Guy Ritchie.
Yeah.
With Brad Pitt and various others.
There's different folks, different strokes. Snatch is a good movie.
Different folks, different strokes. Yeah, no, it is a good movie. He's just not like locked in like we are. He's not going to sit down and watch every Best Picture nominee, and I don't blame him.
That's fair.
I don't blame him.
We should trick him into watching Emilia Perez.
Yeah, man. But then he'll never watch another movie again. He'll just think, the entire form has gone rotten. Yeah. It's cooked. It's over. Back to sports for me. Back to basketball. And if you want to go back to basketball, that's what we will be doing. Literally tomorrow, it will be back to basketball here on Nerd Sesh Show. Follow us on YouTube. Listen to the pod. Wherever you get your audio content, follow us across social, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, at Nerd Sesh on Instagram and TikTok, at Nerd_Sesh on Twitter to see clips from our show, graphics from our show, and all of our trivia content. So with that, I'm going to do the normal outro, and you're just going to be Logan, but you're going to be yourself. I've been Carson Breber.
I'm Jack, a.k.a. JokicJoestar.
And this was kind of Nerd Sesh, I guess, but basically just us talking about movies. Yeah, this was Movie Sesh.